I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Stroke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it. I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick. Running late, but it's okay because I had a doctor's appointment and I had to go to the pharmacy and I was just delayed the whole. I wasn't going to do a show, but I was like, let me just come on. Let me do a long but speedy show. I'm going to try to do it as fast as possible. I got a lot of stories opened up for us to watch. So I'm just going to jump right to it because we got no time to waste. We got to go. Literally, got to go. All right, let's set this up. Here we go.
Surgeon General Dr. Joseph Ladapo announced the findings of a food safety study today, and it looks at candy. They say the study shows some of the most popular candy sold in America has unacceptable levels of arsenic. News Channel's Jeff Patterson joins us live tonight in the Tampa newsroom, and these are popular brands we're hearing, Jeff.
Josh, from Nerds to Jolly Ranchers and Skittles, the Florida Department of Health said they found high levels of arsenic in some candies. A spokesperson for the National Confectioners Association is pushing back, questioning who set the levels in this test. The study by the Florida Department of Health took a look at some of the most popular candy sold in stores, and First Lady Casey DeSantis called the study results disturbing.
Concern here is not necessarily about one single piece of candy on one single day. The concern is when these products are consumed, as they realistically are, repeatedly over time.
DeSantis says the study tested 46 different candies from 10 different companies.
26 of the 33 traditional candy brands tested, arsenic was detected at elevated levels.
But a spokesperson for the National Confectioners Association questioned the study, saying chocolate and candy are safe to eat and can be enjoyed as treats as they have been for centuries. The recent
Yeah,
announcement
I
from
don't
the state
know.
of Florida is misguided and demonstrates a glaring lack of transparency related to data-driven
I don't
scientific
trust
safety
these
thresholds
companies because
and the
they're trying to
evaluation
protect
of
their asses.
confectionery products. Casey DeSantis maintains arsenic can be harmful, especially to children.
Arsenic is a known toxic element. Long-term exposure, particularly during childhood, has been linked to developmental impacts, effects on the immune system.
The First Lady did point out the candy tested did not generally show elevated levels of lead, mercury, or cadmium and other problematic carcinogenics. Not all candies tested, however, did show elevated levels of arsenic. Josh?
So, Jeff, did the study suggest how much candy is acceptable? Because I know a lot of people, as you mentioned, you can't just have one.
You can't have one.
A handful or more.
Yeah, it did not. The study did not show that, Josh. And as somebody in the newsroom pointed out today, if you eat too much candy, diabetes may get you before the arsenic. So, as always, use moderation.
Well, now you got to be rethinking all the candy I take. All right, Jeff Patterson live in our newsroom. Thanks so much.
There. Diabetes before arsenic? No, stupid idiot. The arsenic is going to get you before the diabetes. What a fucking idiot. All right, let's keep it moving. We still got more.
The Florida Department of Health testing 46 candy products from 10 different companies, finding 28 had elevated levels of arsenic. 26 of the candies coming from very popular brands, things that our children are reaching for in the grocery store. This research is the next step in the state's Healthy Florida First initiative.
You know, there's a reasonable expectation that our food supply, especially foods marketed to children, should not contain toxic chemicals. In 26
what's up, Chloe? What's
traditional candy
up?
brands tested,
Andrea, oh my God,
arsenic was
it's been a
detected
while.
at
How you
elevated
doing?
levels.
Well, here to tell us more is
Hi,
Florida's
Obi, what's
First
up?
Lady, Casey DeSantis.
I gotta roll
Great
my
to
medicine.
have you with us, First Lady.
Good morning.
Good morning. I love this initiative because you started with baby formulas. And if you go on your website, which we'll give to the folks at home, you can see which baby formulas have things like mercury in it, have things like arsenic. And now you're focusing on the candies. Great job at the press conference yesterday. Tell us what your findings are.
Thank you. Yeah, well, we're finding you're right. We started with a baby formula. We found 16 of 24 baby formulas had elevated levels of arsenic, lead, cadmium, and mercury.
Oh my God.
And we said from the beginning, we're going to keep testing things in the food supply. So our next step is into the candy. And you revealed the results of that. Elevated level of arsenic, sometimes 30 and 40 times what other foods might presumably have. So it's very problematic that we're finding it. And also that consumers don't know that it's there, that parents don't know when they're going and they're giving their kids Nerds or Twix or what have you, that there's arsenic in it. And obviously arsenic in aggregate can be a big problem, especially for little kids.
Yeah, you talked about that yesterday. You said it could cause developmental impacts, effect on the immune system, and cancer even later in life. Before we get to the good candies, tell us some examples of what you found in the bad candies.
I see some lawsuits coming her way.
Yeah, so 20
these
and
big
40
companies
times
are not gonna
the amount of arsenic that we might find in
put
other
up with
candies,
this.
right? And so this is problematic. But here's the thing. When you look at it, the context and perspective is really important. And our Surgeon General said it's not necessarily just one individual piece of candy. It's when you're eating a lot of it. So let me give you a definition of what a lot is. For Nerds, if you're consuming more than 96 Nerds, that is more than what you should be consuming in a year as it pertains to arsenic consumption. So kids aren't eating just 96 Nerds. When you think about a box typically has 2,000 Nerds in it, or one of those big boxes that you might get at a movie theater that has 8,000 Nerds. So 96, I mean, they're going to eat more than that. And then you look at arsenic in aggregate. So you look at Twix and another, Milky Way or what have you, and it starts to add up, and you're going well beyond what the Florida Department of Health would say is a safe level of arsenic, for a year.
Can you give us some more examples of what really stood out to you?
The whole Yeah, well, the nerds was a big one because that's something that
Your
my daughter
likes,
eats
yeah.
a lot of. And now that, we're not going to do exposingfoodtoxins.com has all of the candies on there where you can get the specific information. But I have the sheet in front of me, like sweet tarts, gummy bears, Jolly Ranchers. If you eat more than 6 of the little Jolly Ranchers over the course of a year, that is exceeding the allowable threshold of arsenic in a year for children.
What the hell?
Twizzlers, Kit Kats. Now, some of the better ones were Twix and Milky Way and Reese's peanut butter cups. And so that's the other thing, too. So what are we doing? We're trying to raise awareness, right, about these toxic chemicals being in food, but also highlighting the fact that there's a better way to do it. If some of these companies can do it without putting arsenic in the food, then the other companies should follow suit. And the other thing we're doing is not only are we doing independent testing, which I think is really important because we want to raise awareness, we're also calling on other states to help us as well.
Okay.
So if Arkansas and Tennessee and Georgia and Texas and everybody is doing preventative testing, then we can trust but verify what's in the food supply. So manufacturers, they put food out there and then we can trust and make sure it's indeed what they say it is.
We only have 30 seconds. I just have to get the statement in from the company that
30 seconds.
three
We always
candies
have 30 seconds.
that you focused on. The recent announcement from the state of Florida is misguided and demonstrates a glaring lack of transparency related to data-driven scientific safety thresholds and the elevation of confectionery products. Food safety and product quality remain our highest priorities, and we remain dedicated to being transparent and socially responsible, and we will follow the science. If you want the website, it's exposingfoodtoxins.com. Thank you, First Lady. Have a good.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here.
That's
to
stupid.
subscribe to the Fox News channel on
that has consequences. They want to rush it. Hurry up! We only got 3 seconds. Go! Like, how is that reporting? How are you? That's stupid. You're rushing this important information that needs to be put out to the public, but yet you're like, no, hurry up. You know why? Because they know that the candy companies are gonna go after these like news agencies and the governor's wife, and they're gonna try to sue the shit out of her because of her reports. And that's what they do to protect their asses. They don't care about your children and eating whatever chemicals. Do you think they care? No. All they care about is that dollar bill. And as long as children continue eating candy, they're going to continue being rich. And we are the ones that are going to suffer. That's how it is. And that's always how it's been. So let's keep it moving. We got more to watch.
And Minnesota's federal chief judge also saying the Trump administration. He had threatened to potentially hold the nation's top ICE official in contempt if the agency did not immediately free a man from Ecuador this week. Let's bring in Fox 9 investigator Paul Bloom on this one. So Paul,
Send his ass back to Ecuador where he came from.
Been released from ICE custody, but it seems clear the chief judge here is frustrated.
Yes, Simone Kelsey, Chief
And
Judge
Minnesota judges are
bullshit. What he demanded in his order was, quote, extraordinary, potentially ordering the top ICE official in Washington, D.C. to come to his Minnesota courtroom to answer to contempt allegations over the release of that immigrant from Ecuador.
A regular
supposed to be
court
sent home
command a
week,
federal
we now
official
understand he has been
court.
released,
Are you kidding me?
which likely means no hearing on Friday, but that isn't official on the court docket.
You're not going to respect that.
But it's important here to take a look at what Judge Schiltz wrote to better understand this court's frustration with the Trump administration not complying with federal habeas orders, releasing detained immigrants, or at the very least, providing them bond hearings in immigration court. Here's what he had to say, quote, this court has been extremely patient with respondents, meaning the government, even though respondents decided to send thousands of agents to Minnesota to detain aliens without making any provision for dealing with the hundreds of habeas petitions and other lawsuits that were sure to result.
So, Paul, I understand that you sat in on one of the habeas hearings yesterday where a federal judge was frustrated by all of these delays in the government responding to his orders.
Yeah, Kelsey, I did. Interesting case. The federal judge there ordered the immediate and unconditional release of a Mexican immigrant,
but you have to be responsible with
in
candy.
This country for another 2 years.
So,
the judge contemplated a contempt finding after the man's release was delayed, and then
cautiously, I guess,
enforcement officials kept hold of some of his key papers, including his driver's license and work permit. After that hearing yesterday, I had a chance to ask Department of Justice attorneys and a top local ICE administrator what was going on. You guys got very close to a contempt finding today. How overwhelmed is ICE, sir? We haven't heard from you guys on the ground here. But you can see there, no comment from any of the three. I'll have much more on my attempts to get answers and my full story on Judge Schultz's order coming up tonight at Fox 9 at 6:30. For now, we're live in the newsroom. Paul Bloom.
They got every right to remain silent.
All right, we'll be watching for that report. Thanks, Paul.
President Donald.
They got every right to remain silent. They don't need to answer no fucking questions from reporters. Keep it moving.
There are changes in the grocery store landscape today. Amazon is closing some stores and converting others.
That's right. WGN's Christine Flores has more from Amazon's North Riverside location, which was closed today.
Good evening. Would-be customers have been walking up to the store here in North Riverside only to be greeted by a sign that says they're closed for the rest of the day. And it's not clear if this is tied to the recent announcement.
I come here often to return stuff, and I come here often to do shopping, grocery shopping here.
This would have been my first time coming to this Amazon Fresh, and to see this, very, very disappointing. I'm sad.
Would-be customers arrived at the Amazon Fresh store in North Riverside only to find out it was closed for the day. A sign on the door didn't have a reason why, but it told them to return tomorrow.
What if I come back tomorrow and the sign's still posted? I mean, so what's the reason for the close?
Yes.
I mean, it's not telling you anything. It's just say they apologize for closing.
In a blog post by the company, Amazon announced it would close its brick and mortar stores, which are 57 Amazon Fresh locations and 15 Amazon Go sites, all while expanding their Whole Foods market and investing in grocery delivery. It's a move retail experts say is not surprising.
It's important to remember that Amazon has a long history of testing and learning and then moving on. And so this really kind of plays into just that continued commitment to testing new concepts, innovating, taking learnings, but also knowing when to let go.
Amanda Lay, associate partner with McMillan Doolittle, a retail consulting firm, points at the various ways the company has been innovative and created technology seen in other spaces like the Walkout store at O'Hare and Wrigley Field.
Just because they're backing out of Amazon Fresh and Amazon Go doesn't mean they're done experimenting. Just last week, we heard those announcements about Amazon planning to open up a 230,000 square foot location in Orland Park. The earliest reports say it's going to be like half grocery and merchandise, another half will be more distribution center. So, they're still experimenting with brick and mortar retail just in different ways.
The Seattle-based retailer said some locations would turn into Whole Foods stores, adding in their post, while we've seen encouraging signals in our Amazon-branded physical grocery stores, we haven't yet created a truly distinctive customer experience with the right economic model needed for large-scale expansion. Meanwhile, some customers at North Riverside weighed in on the move.
It was pretty disappointing taking the truck out here and finding it's going to be closed and deciding now where else I'm going to take returns to.
Amazon did not provide a timeline for the closures. They also didn't say which sites would become Whole Foods. They also didn't say how many employees would be impacted by the closures or if those employees would be reassigned within the company. Reporting in North Riverside, Christine Flores, WGN News.
Take those packages to Kohl's. Like I say, Kohl's, they accept Amazon returns. Keep it moving.
A local mail carrier is on emergency placement with no pay after expressing his safety concerns on Facebook. He told us he arrived at his Fairfield facility this morning to find, look at this, buried trucks, no packages to deliver. Alexis Martin spoke with that carrier about his concerns with the lack of preparation and communication when severe weather hits.
People aren't aware of what we experience. That's fine.
After being snowed in, Jason Thompson left his Fairfield USPS facility for care.
It took me 45 minutes, which normally takes me about 20. Roads were obviously still snow covered. and kind of burying them.
These videos taken early this morning show what the parking lot looked like when Thompson arrived. He says they were typically expected to clean off their own trucks.
2 feet on the sides. I mean,
that's crazy.
We're buried. We need more resources.
You're gonna kill them if you're gonna make them clean their own trucks.
Men, women of different ages to try and accomplish it.
Thompson says there was no communication from corporate to the carriers, so they have no idea what will be waiting for them when they get to work tomorrow.
The volume of mail and packages is probably going to be double, triple on top of that with another delay. So, you're going to be expected to do more volume with the same conditions.
But Thompson won't be there to find out. In the time since I interviewed Thompson, he tells me he was put on emergency placement with no pay after the Facebook post expressing his frustrations blew up. He tells me the Postal Service is conducting an investigation. I reached out to USPS about the allegations in Thompson's post. They sent me back a statement which stresses the U.S. Postal Service delivers mail in cold weather to ensure delivery of critical items. It also says employee safety is a top priority and employees follow established safety precautions. Thompson says he put his career on the line to help those who are too scared to speak up.
This is not meant to be an overall negative thing. This is for positive awareness. Like I want some more resource and accountability and help and change within the post office, not just in my office, but nationwide.
Oh, you live in North Riverside?
So again, a few hours after he posted that video, right now he has no pay. Alexis Martin was reporting on that story. You can find USPS's statement on our website anytime you like to check it out, fox19.com.
You fucking speak up, and then they dox you, and then they don't want to pay you, and then they treat you like you're the criminal, you're the bad guy because you're trying to save everybody else's backs because they're already busting their ass delivering the mail every freaking day, and they work long shifts. They work 12-hour shifts, and all they ask is for someone to help clean off the trucks so they don't have to because they got to clean off their trucks and then go to do all the work and then bring the truck back. And it's just like, what the fuck? That's not part of the deal. You pay him to deliver the mail, not to clean off trucks and do maintenance. Like, are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. Like, I was like, and the fact that he's not getting paid, I hope they do a GoFundMe for him and raise up enough money so he could say, fuck you, well, he works for the United States Postal Service, so fuck the Postal Service. All right, guys, let's see what else we got here. Let me set this up. Here we go. So much to watch. I got to do it quick. So here we go.
Who dedicated his life to service and faith has died while attempting to shovel snow outside of his Floral Park church. Jennifer Bisram spoke with his friends, family, and parishioners on Long Island.
This is the guy you could call and anything you needed, and he would be there for you.
He lived with an open hand and welcoming heart, leaving a trail of love his family, friends, and community say they were honored to follow.
A friend for life, we grew up together and spent a lot of good times with him. We did everything together. Everything you can imagine, from playing ball to playing hooky.
Kevin Troy remembering 60-year-old Roger McGovern, a retired NYPD sergeant who volunteered at Our Lady of Victory Church in Floral Park. Was a member of the Knights of Columbus.
She says the same thing. That's wild. Andrea, that's really wild.
His family tells CBS News New York he walked in the snow and brutal cold about a mile to the church to shovel and clear paths so parishioners.
Yeah, I'm gonna end up having surgery.
Sadly, he died from a heart attack before he could finish.
This was not an untypical thing for Roger to do.
The NYPD says the father of three retired in 2008. The Sergeants Benevolent Association posted on X his commitment to service continued long after retirement. May he rest in peace.
He was shoveling, doing good work that he did his whole life.
He was a great guy. He's good for Floral Park. He was a good father, good friend, and he's going to be missed.
A tremendous loss now being felt across Floral Park and the law enforcement community.
He's going to be remembered as a guy who would do anything and always help others.
And the family says funeral arrangements for McGovern are still being finalized. In the meantime, he is being remembered as a man of faith and a man of
He should have hired someone to clean that up.
but by this community. In Floral Park, Jennifer Bisram, CBS News, New York.
It don't take much to stress your heart to a point that it causes you to pass out and die. So be careful shoveling snow out there, especially if you're not an active person, someone, who actually exercises on a daily basis, like not me. Because I would not be out there shoveling no fucking snow. Because hell to the fuck no. Real quick, you heard me say, "Oh, my knee" during that report. I'm having really bad issues with my left knee. It just me sitting down causes my knee to do some weird thing inside, and it hurts. It's like a sharp pain, and it's coming from my meniscus. And I know I'm gonna need surgery. That's why I was late for this show today, because I actually went to go see the doctor. And like I said, they're sending me to do an MRI. And after the MRI, most likely I will be seeing a specialist. And I'm thinking next month I might have to have surgery. I'm going to try to push it to the end of February, but we'll see how long I could hold this knee out. I wish I didn't have to do it right away, but it's just causing me too much problems. Even while I'm sitting, I'm having like sharp pain in my knee. So yeah, that's the reason why I was late today. So I apologize, but let's keep it moving with some more news. Set this up here and let's watch.
Moving snow out of the way, snowbanks across the state.
Okay, what's going on here? Okay, I guess it went unavailable, the video. Let me see what's going on here. All right, well, it's unavailable, so let's keep it moving.
Piled up across New Jersey this weekend. One homeowner in Morris County decided to let a robot handle the cleanup while he stayed inside nice and warm. And now the video of his autonomous snowblower is going viral, racking up millions of views. Check that out. Here's Sandra Bookman.
All my friends say it'll never work.
Skeptics weren't hard to find, especially given the size of his driveway.
Thank you, Andrea. Yeah, I'm just having really bad problems with my left knee. It's really bad. It's to the point that I'm sitting here,
Challenging driveway.
just sitting here,
This driveway,
and I get sharp pains in my knee.
driveways, I think.
So
Instead of firing up a traditional
I spoke to the
snowblower
doctor
this
today,
weekend,
and they're like,
Tom
"Yeah, you're gonna
Maloney of
need
Chester,
to have
New Jersey,
surgery."
put an autonomous one to the test, but he says it
Oh, look how
won't come
cool.
easy.
It takes a while to set them up. I'll tell you right now, this isn't for people that just want to buy something, take it out of the box and use it. I have probably 30 hours invested in assembling.
What the fuck? 30 hours to assemble it.
When the snow does.
You turn it on when it starts snowing, and you just let it run continuously.
It ran through the night, in fact, returning to its charging dock as needed.
I had it running all night, and when I woke up this morning, my driveway's done.
Milani says this is a glimpse of how
It's
technology
very
is
convenient.
changing everyday chores.
Well, that's how
Yeah, it's making people
robotics,
lazier.
AI helps us live better lives. Who wants to be outside?
But at least you don't have to die from a heart
cleaning your
attack
driveway?
cleaning
And he
all that
believes
beautiful
this is just the
property.
beginning.
This is first gen, and like any tech, you know, it only gets bigger, better, and less expensive as time goes on. So I 100% can see these things eventually being used at municipalities, much larger scale than
Wow,
what
that looks
mine
pretty
is.
cool.
Sandra Bookman.
Beautiful
Channel 7,
house.
Eyewitness News.
I'm not gonna lie, motherfucker, you got a big ass house. It looks beautiful. But that's smart. Little robot do everything. Let's get Johnny Five out there from Short Circuit. I clean your snow off your fucking. He's gonna start fighting and throwing lasers at people. He's gonna start killing people. The robot's gonna like turn and go to the middle of the street and cause a big accident. Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust technology that fast. All right, let's keep it moving.
Only all-weather show. This is First Alert Weather Extra.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday night for First Alert Weather Extra. I'm Mark Sidney, along with Chief Meteorologist Mark Dixon and Meteorologist Mike Slifer, wrapping up a busy Tuesday afternoon leading into the night right now, dealing with that cold weather still.
Yeah, cold weather. I feel like sometimes the lead up to a storm actually busier than the storm itself.
Yes, absolutely.
And there's a lot of uncertainty regarding a storm for this weekend.
Yes,
And everybody's talking about that one.
Everyone's talking.
The buzz online is just
Those online posts. Yes. And here we kind of want to break down what we know now versus what we don't. And also, given that we're still about 5 days out this is still in that window of time that everything is and then Thursday more or less likely regarding the track of this winter storm. It's a coastal storm, and we're talking about any we will have. All right, so we'll run down the different model scenarios for you. This is the latest run of the American, the GFS model. We'll take this view. We'll also repeat it again in just a moment using the European model to give you that comparison. 7 o'clock Sunday morning, the area of low pressure is developing off the mid-Atlantic coast. As our Sunday moves forward in time, regardless of model, the wind is going to be picking up in
frustrating. This is frustrating. StreamYard's doing some uploads and updates and shit, and of course, I got booted off of StreamYard, and I'm not dealing with this bullshit tonight. I'm trying to watch all these shows that I have here lined up, so I'm gonna have to restart that video, but damn, man. Trying to figure this. 1 sec. I can't believe StreamYard is just fucking up so much. I'm telling you, when I get that call, I haven't called them. I've been too busy, and I'm still dealing with like a lot of issues, my own personal issues. I just want to get on the phone and start bitching them out because they're gonna get an earful, and I feel sorry for the person who picks up my call. But yeah, it's just. Listen, let me I don't know what's going on, to be honest with you. I'm just trying to get this done as fast as possible. But let's go ahead and set this back up. Here we go. We're getting another storm.
Connecticut's only all-weather show. This is
It's out of Connecticut.
Weather Extra.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday night for First Alert Weather Extra. I'm Mark Sidney, along with Chief Meteorologist Mark Dixon and Meteorologist Mike Slifer, wrapping up a busy Tuesday afternoon leading into the night right now, dealing with that cold weather still.
Yeah, cold weather. I feel like sometimes the lead up to a storm actually busier than the storm itself.
Yes, absolutely.
And there's a lot of uncertainty regarding a storm for this weekend.
Yes,
And everybody's talking about that one.
Everyone's talking.
The buzz online is just
Those
Nonstop.
online posts. Yes. And here we kind of want to break down what we know now versus what we don't. And also, given that we're still about 5 days out, this is still in that window of time that really anything is possible, that we're looking for a pattern. And as we get closer, say tomorrow into Thursday,
hopefully don't get heavy snow.
Something is looking more or less
I mean,
likely
I don't
to
mind
the
it, but I
track
don't want
of this
heavy
winter
snow this
storm. It's a
weekend.
coastal storm, and we're talking about Sunday.
Because it could be blizzard
develops,
conditions.
It's just where it tracks relative to us here in Connecticut that will dictate what kind of impact, if any, we will have. All right, so we'll run down the different model scenarios.
Oh,
for you. This is
no.
the latest run of the American, the GFS model. We'll take this view. We'll
I
also
hope it isn't
repeat it
just
again in just a
cold.
moment using the European model to give you that
Towards
comparison.
us.
7 o'clock Sunday morning, the area of low pressure is developing off the mid-Atlantic coast. As the sun, as our Sunday moves forward in time,
High bomb.
regardless of model, the wind is going to
Be a
picking up in
bombogenesis.
intensity. This looks to be a stronger storm compared to Winter Storm Benjamin. It's the track that, again, is a bit
Yeah, I
uncertain.
know.
So this
Chicago
particular
would be
model
cold,
running
man.
clips
Y'all be
southeastern
getting.
parts of New
Oh
England,
no,
all the
we're
way
gonna
to
get a
Maine,
nor'easter
eastern
this
England, I should
weekend.
say, throughout Sunday evening.
It might come
And then
close
something
to
that is
us.
common between these models is that the storm is fairly quick moving. It's out of here by Sunday morning, Monday morning, unlike Benjamin that lingered into its second
Yeah,
day
'cause it's a
before
nor'easter,
entirely
dummy.
exiting. So here's the European model again. Same view.
So
We'll
the
do the same
European
time
is more
stops.
to
7 o'clock on Sunday morning. The storm is a little bit
east.
farther offshore. So note the northwestern extent of the blue. That's the snow, of course, as the
That's
area of
the
low pressure moves
European.
up toward the Canadian Maritimes, only clipping, say, the Cape and Islands. So here in Connecticut, we'll see cloudiness if this model were to pan out and then return brighter again.
Well,
as
you're
we
gonna be
get into
getting
the
snow
Monday
on
morning. So
Sunday.
a little bit
Andrew.
side-by-side comparison, 7
Y'all
o'clock
getting
on Sunday
snow.
evening. That shield of snow, the western extent, comes almost to the lower Hudson Valley on the GFS. Meanwhile, again, just clipping the Cape and Islands on the European model. So provided that, no snow accumulation on the European model, and the heaviest, of course, closest to the storm center, which is going to be offshore on the GFS. But if the storm were to continue, perhaps shifting farther west, that would mean a higher likelihood for us to see snow within the borders of Connecticut. So something we're going to be fine-tuning, of course, as we get closer in time. Speaking more to the uncertainty, what we know, what we don't, at least not yet, want to send things over to Mike Slifer.
You know, Mark, during your Q&A at 2:30, which was streaming live on WFSB Plus, kind of touched a little bit about the forecasting piece of this and why we are dealing with the uncertainty in the track. Bottom line is it's still 5 days out. So here's what we know.
Yeah, because you
for
guys don't
certain.
know how to do your
There will
damn
be a
jobs right.
coastal storm
You don't
that
know how to
develops, and we know
forecast
the time
right.
frame of this is going to be Sunday into Sunday night. In fact, we've known that now for several days. If you've been watching our First Alert forecast, you'll know that we've had watching on our First Alert 7-day forecast in that time frame. And common question that we often get is, in this world of people seeing things online, is one model more accurate? Why do you prefer some models over others? Well, we'll talk about that a little bit more, but basically the what it comes down to is we have two models that we rely on for the medium range forecast.
Yeah, it's
And
the
so
models
when
that
those
you are
in,
able to use.
agreement with each other, when we see a lot of agreement between those two,
You don't have the
higher
rights to
confidence in
use
the forecast,
others.
which is what we saw
That's
with Winter
why.
Storm Benjamin. That's not the case with this one. There's still quite a bit of model
It's very
spread, and again,
easy.
that's very typical at 5 days out. What we don't
That's why
know just yet
YouTubers
is the
are a
track
lot
of the
better
storm,
than
because a
news.
small nudge, as Mark mentioned, is going to have significant differences in what we actually experience, whether that is the potential for snow here.
Chicago's
or
cold. How
no
cold is
snow.
it in
What
Chicago?
we will certainly see is a little bit of wind.
It's
And we want to do a little
freezing over
compare
there.
and contrast for you. So Benjamin had the ideal track for snow. It was offshore. We had that Arctic air in place, which gave sort of a fluffiness to the snow. And it wasn't until the very tail end where we started to see that sleet mixing in along the shoreline. And even then, most of the snow at that point had already accumulated, with most towns along the shoreline eclipsing that 1 foot mark. Also, we didn't really have much wind with Benjamin. There was a brief period of time later on in the storm where the shoreline especially picked up, saw the wind gusts rather pick up. We had gusts up over 30 miles an hour very briefly, but it was a very short-lived part of the storm. This one that is going to be at least moving nearby on Sunday is certainly going to be stronger. And that means that wind is going to be a much larger concern. Given the uncertainty in the track, we don't know where the snow will fall, if it even falls at all in Connecticut. But something else that we have to watch for here is possible coastal flooding, as we will be dealing with the astronomical high
Yeah,
tide.
'cause of the
And that
wind.
wind direction out of the northeast could be pushing extra water into Long Island Sound. So a couple of other things that we'll have to watch with this storm. We'll talk much more about the cold weather that's in place and some snow showers that are moving through right now a little bit later in our First Alert Weather Extra.
All right, Mike, Mark, thank you both. We'll see you again in a few minutes. Well, did you know there's a bird that actually thrives in the snow? Jill Gilardi explains in tonight's edition of Wildlife versus Weather.
Thanks. Yeah, it is time for Wildlife versus Weather. Today, we're focusing on a winter favorite, the dark-eyed junco, famously known as the snowbird. Now, dark-eyed juncos are commonly called snowbirds, a nickname likely inspired by two key reasons. A sign of winter. Many people believe their arrival from northern breeding grounds foretells the imminent return of cold and snowy weather. They also have a natural camouflage. Another possibility is their unique coloring, a slate-colored
Beautiful bird.
back and a crisp white belly, which
I
has
love
been
birds.
aptly
Who doesn't
described
love
as
birds?
the latent skies above,
Look how
snow
cute.
below, helping them to blend
Aw,
into the winter
so beautiful.
landscape. Well, I was recently asked on my Facebook fan page why we're seeing such a surge of dark-eyed juncos following Winter Storm Benjamin. To get the answer, I checked in with the experts. Michelle Sanford
They're
from
hungry.
Wildbirds Unlimited in Watertown says when the snow falls, juncos flock to backyard feeders. Why?
Yeah, they're hungry.
Because that heavy snow cover hides their natural pantry, basically the grasses and weed seeds they usually find on the bare ground. It's
I
all
just
covered
said
up.
it.
So juncos spend the entire
They're so pretty.
winter in flocks, averaging in size from 6 to 30 or more birds.
Wow.
Snow-covered ground drives them toward feeding stations for
Aw.
easy access to high-fat, high-energy fuel like sunflower chips and millet. And they are also very resourceful. Juncos are primarily ground feeders, and they've actually been observed tunneling through deep snow to find buried seeds. They also use a clever technique called riding, where they hop onto a tall grass stem and use their body weight to bend it down to the snowy surface to eat. So how do they stay warm in sub-zero temperatures? It's all about the coat. Juncos actually grow 30% more feathers by weight in the winter than they have in the summer. They also puff up to try and trap body heat, turning into tiny round balls of plumage to
They're
stay
like little
insulated.
heaters.
While they head north in the spring, they are our constant companions here in Connecticut until the weather warms up. Juncos also, they puff up their feathers to trap body heat, turning into those little round balls. They look so cute
Mhm.
out there.
They look so
if
cute.
you want to attract dark-eyed juncos to your yard, and you don't have a feeder, you can always just toss some sunflower chips out there or some millet on top of the snow. They are going to also want to enjoy some fresh water too, which you can provide by using an electric heated bird bath. Back to
You know something? These birds, I'm gonna have to leave them a bill because that shit ain't free. Let's keep it moving. Ooh, what's this? Oh, it's a quiet one, so I get to speak. Yay! All right. So these people seem like they were in an accident. It looks like ice, right? The roads looks treacherous. Oh shit! Oh, he almost lost it. Oh, he's lucky. You see, these vehicles should know that this. Oh Lord, this car's coming too fast. Oh, there he goes. Oh shit. Oh, 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 that was a hard hit. That truck owner must be pissed off. He should have just tried to drive it into the field instead of just leaving it there. Now your truck is fucked. Well, you got insurance, and I'm pretty sure the person who hit you have insurance, so that sucks. But if you see the roads like this, why are you going so fucking fast? Like that vehicle, the SUV was going really fast. Like why? Why? Yeah. Now you got two crashed up vehicles here, probably more because all these others crashed. And this is just lining up to be a disaster. And this is a drone that's actually capturing all this. The drone capture it live. Damn, that sucks, man. That truck got hit hard. Well, I would have moved the truck. I would have just went onto the field and drove it onto the field. You had a better chance, surviving an accident driving it onto the field than you are leaving it on the side of the road where another vehicle come and crash. Just help me make it make sense. You see, like you should be driving. Like if you're gonna drive like this type of conditions, you should definitely be going like 10, 15, like 15 miles per hour. No faster than that, because once you hit that ice, it doesn't matter. You're gonna spin out as soon as you hit that brake. That's the worst thing you could do is hit the brakes. You hit the brakes, you're gonna fishtail and crash. Oh, look at this, upside down. Another truck. Damn, that sucks. Oh man, and the airbags deployed, so that vehicle is totaled. Because once the airbags go off, that's it. And this guy wants to stand in the middle of the road while there's icing conditions. Are you crazy? Oh, look, another one lost control. And these are nice vehicles. I mean, all right, it's a fucking Hyundai right there. It lost.
Woke up, we heard this loud sound, and we were asleep. The lights was already off, and I woke up like, "What was that?" And he was trying to find his house, going to get a flashlight.
Oh,
and I just ran to the window in the dark because we know the house. And I looked out here and I seen the trees. I was like, "Oh my God!" But he was in the door. I never seen it. They just come.
Okay. I guess the
Come
internet.
over here and cut us out of there. It was all this right here was blocked out.
It feels like -5, -5 feels like -20.
Yeah.
Wow.
We don't have water. And we didn't get water for our neighbors
should
up
be like
there.
that,
It was
but
so cold in
no.
here, so we ended up.
Let
We
me
came
check.
back home last night when they told us the lights was on. We was out that day, but I still wasn't expecting it to get this bad. I really wasn't. How bad it was. And I had to climb over this big old tree. It was a big old tree.
It's 12
It was so
right
loud.
now.
I thought they had kicked the door in because it was
It's
such
gonna
a
be
big crash.
4
We
degrees
thank God
here
it didn't break
tonight.
the windows. Because that's how hard this big tree just came down and it was hitting our door. Me look out the window trying to see whether some people's out there trying to break in. Then I seen all these bushes. The ice done laid it down a lot, but it was all standing up in the window. Even in our backyard, you can't even see out there. We used to see the back complex up there. We can't
I like
see nothing.
Houdini.
I think this is worse. I think this one is worse than what it was back in '94. Well, we learn next time to be prepared more and not always doubt that it won't happen. Because we wouldn't believe it was going to get, oh, it's not going to do nothing. So we learned a lesson from it, and when we see what the tragedies of it could be.
I like her
The scene
her
all
beanie,
through
her hat.
Oxford, Mississippi pretty much explains itself. Everywhere you look, trees are down or actively
Looks like
falling,
hell.
power lines are toppled, and
Wow, look how
literally
beautiful the
everything,
sky.
including the roads, are completely caked in ice.
Wow.
The worst part about it, some people still got to work today, and it's led to several major crashes. One of which was a 7-car pileup. And you could see just there beside me, you hear it, the sights and sounds of the ice storm 2026, unlike a lot of residents have ever seen, or at least since '94.
Wow. I hope Chloe's doing good with the ice storm because she's over in Dallas and they got ice also. But I hope it's not like this over in the Texas. This is really severe. Lines are down. Look at the trees are taking down the power lines, and the power lines have ice on it, so that's gonna naturally come down too. So, oh man, that sucks. Well, that's Mother Nature for you guys. We're the ones in the that we think we're inconvenient. No, Mother Nature's gonna do her thing. We're just in the middle of it. Pretty nice drone footage. I mean, whatever drone that they're using, it's a pretty nice drone. They got really good close-ups. Like you can see really clear. And we it's so magical, even though it's so like it's destroying everything, but it looks so pretty. Damn. I'm lucky Connecticut didn't get that. You know, the snow that I had here that I did the little snowman stuff on my shorts. Well, that snowman eventually did melt it, but when I touched, because it was still frozen to like the Santa Claus hat that I put on it, it felt weird. Like the ice, it like the melt from the snowball, it felt so weird. The texture, it didn't feel like water. It felt rough. It was like a rough like ice. I've never felt anything like that before. I mean, I know what ice feels like. That did not feel anywhere close to ice. It felt like it just felt artificial. It didn't feel real. And I hope other people are doing the tests like how I did, and they can see for themselves that we're being manipulated. Oxford. I believe this is Tennessee. I believe this is Tennessee. But damn that. You know, the tree branches broke on top of the house. Hopefully the roof is okay. It doesn't seem like too much. Hopefully the roof is not damaged. All right, great. It's over. Let's keep it moving. What the? Oh no, not this crazy chick. What happened? Rushed and sprayed. What? Let's listen in. Oh, shut up. Oh, oh, what she's trying to do? Oh, she got sprayed. Oh my God, she got sprayed. Who did this? Her own people? Who is it? What? Why is she speaking like that? We're not gonna let these fucking assholes like hello. She needs to go get checked. Get checked for what? Is it an agent that they sprayed on her? It's probably skunk spray. Oh look, the Somali protectors. She has the Somali protectors. Let me guess, it's a white guy? Why are they just holding him on the ground? Why are they not like evacuating him? What? You're not Minnesotan. You're Somalian. You're Somalian strong. You're not Minnesota. You're just handicapping off of Minnesota. She's an idiot. Oh, hold on. Let me. It didn't switch over. I'm gonna have to show you guys. I'm so sick of YouTube. I am so sick of the not YouTube. It's StreamYard. It's just a horrible night. I'm gonna show this all over again. It should have switched over and it didn't. And it's still not switching over. What's going on here? All right, here we go. Now it's switched over. Okay. Let's do it again. I don't mind seeing her get sprayed. She looks crazy. The way she cursed, too. You think that this lady is legit? You think she's a Minnesotan? No, you're Somalian and you need to go back to your country. How about that? Like, you are so ungrateful. But whoever sprayed you, I don't know what they sprayed you with. And the person who was speaking there saying, yeah, you should go get checked out. I mean, and maybe it was a chemical agent. Maybe they're trying to kill her ass. Who knows? Maybe it was one of her people that did it and they're just trying to like project, oh, it's the other side who sprayed me. Oh, listen, I don't fall for their tricks. These Somalians, they are scam artists. They will find a way to pity party their way to your pockets. That's what they do. They like to use their emotion and their oh my god to gain more votes and gain more funds. It's just it's a listen. I'm so pissed because she's an idiot and why she continues to have a microphone and cameras pointed at her. She should be behind bars. She should be the one being arrested for fraud. But yet, she's untouchable. I wonder how the fuck do you make $30 million in less than 2 years? I would like to know because I would like to try that program too. If I could get $30 million in less than 2 years, holy shit, you know the production? My show wouldn't be interrupting like this. I would have a whole production team. I would be screaming at them when shit happens like this. All right, let's watch.
And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
Oh, she got sprayed. She tried to run after him.
I don't know.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! He sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing.
How would she know if it smells?
No. You need to go get checked. No,
we will continue. These fucking assholes are not going to get away with it.
You need to go get checked.
Why is she quick to say these fucking assholes? Like, who does she know who he is? Why is she assuming right away?
That's whatever it is smells.
The first thing that comes into her head, oh, it's the right who sprayed me. The right sprayed me. It was Trump, Donald Trump voter that sprayed me.
Safety. No, he sprayed something on you. You need to go get checked. Yeah, and it smells terrible.
I put some booty juice on her.
Talking.
They put some booty juice on her.
I beg you.
And why he's not being taken out of the area? Why are they holding him down there? There isn't any police officers there?
Here is the reality that people like this ugly man don't understand. We are Minnesota strong, and we will stay resilient in the face of whatever they might throw at us.
I think this is fake. I think that's fake. I don't know. The first thing that comes into my mind is it was staged.
Everybody settle down. I'm going to finish my remarks. It's important for me to continue to lead my Democrat colleagues in resignation.
That makes no sense. First of all, hold on. I had to pause it because she's a fucking idiot. If you get sprayed by any chemical agent that you don't even know, the first thing you should do is stop that fucking press conference, get the fuck out, and get medical attention in case that is an agent that could possibly kill you, dumbass. So this is why I say this. It doesn't seem real. It seems like very set up. Like the way that the reaction and how the rest of the room was like just looking, and this guy just came up and just spray her, and then they leave him on the floor instead of evacuating him and getting him the fuck out and rushing him out of there. No, they just lay down on the floor. I'm gonna finish what I'm gonna say. She needs to resign. She needs to resign. I don't care anymore. They're coming too close to my money. They need to resign, all of them. Trump is bad. I can't sleep at night. I wake up screaming, saying Trump's name out loud. Trump! Like, what the fuck is going on here? What circus am I watching? I don't understand. But let's continue watching this clown Omar. Oh, Lord.
And like I said, if she does not resign, we are going to introduce articles of impeachment.
You can introduce whatever you want, you dummy. They need to do it for you. They need to get you the fuck out of this country. How about that?
This
He's not
moment
even
in US
concerned.
history, and particularly in Minnesota, requires all of us to be working together to preserve our democracy. When we say we are going to put our lives on the line for what is our right, we mean that.
Oh, you sound stupid. You sound like you need to go back to Somalia.
Last week, my Republican colleagues put forth a Homeland Security funding bill that includes $28 billion for ICE and Border Patrol. I refuse to greenlit funding for a rogue agency that ICE escalates violence, operates above the law, and opposes our most basic freedoms. I've already stated tonight,
Yeah,
ICE
keep
is
reading
shooting
from your
people in
script.
broad daylight.
Okay,
Beating
keep reading your
up
script.
teenagers, spraying tear gas on peaceful protesters,
Beautiful,
ripping people out
peaceful
of their
protesters.
cars and
Listen to
homes
this
without
shit.
warrant, racially profiling people based on their accent, taking kids from schools and abducting people,
Oh, Lord.
shipping
Where's my
them
violin?
far
I
away
need a fucking
detention
violin.
camps with brutal
Who's gonna buy me a
conditions
violin?
and
I
no
need a
due
violin.
process. We
I need a
cannot
violin
treat
for when
this
people
as
talk like
business
her.
as usual.
I want to play it.
That's why I
Let me
led the
play my
entire
violin right here.
Congressional Progressive Caucus in opposing this bill. And we as a caucus adopted an official position. And now we have gotten all of the Democratic senators to agree to that position and
Yeah,
hold
I
ICE
think
accountable.
that spray incident is all set up. Because she's not even worried. Look at her. She just wants to speak and make that part of the news.
But this president's lawlessness does not stop with ICE and border enforcement. We are seeing how he's threatening Greenland and Venezuela and Iran and
Listen
Cuba
to this
and
shit.
Colombia.
What a fucking idiot. I hope they have another angle. Yes, let's watch another angle.
We do have some breaking news to tell you about right now. Congresswoman Ilhan
Breaking
Omar was
news.
giving her first town hall in her district in Minneapolis amid these ongoing tensions with
got
ICE and
sprayed.
Border Patrol. She was talking about about Kristi Noem, rather, when suddenly this happened.
And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must
And wait, hold on. But it's so convenient that the cameraman is facing this way. Why would a cameraman be facing behind Omar? Wait a minute. Hold up. Time out. Let's see if I could change another angle here and make me a little bit there. She's little. She can stay her ass right over there. Why would you have this cameraman that's like standing right there? Why is he filming from behind? I've never seen a press conference with a cameraman filming behind. Usually you want to get the front of them, right? It so happens that if you look back there, he's facing outwards. So he's anticipating this individual to come up. And he comes up and he gets the capture. He gets it with the camera. Help me make it make sense. This is another angle that we did not see. We saw one angle. We didn't see this angle. That angle showing a cameraman facing behind her. You don't think the Somali they love attention and they know they were gonna have media there, so it was her first time back to her district What do you like? Have all the cameras in front facing you as you're talking? Wouldn't you have security there because of all the craziness that's been happening? Nope. That gentleman just walked up, sprayed her. The guy in the back got the footage, and now they're gonna use it for political. They're gonna use it for their midterms. Look, I got sprayed by a right winger. Nah, how do you know if he's a right winger or not? How about if he's just an independent voter? Why always blame Trump? Like, I'm gonna make a shirt. Why always blame Trump? Why? Why is the first thing you go after? It's the Republican Party. It's all the evil Republicans. They're not giving me my money, so I'm not going to give them their $28 billion for ICE and DHS and all their operations. I got all the Democrats to sign off that. We're not going to give it to them. Girl, we don't need your Democratic vote. We got the Republican vote. The Republicans will pass it through. And they don't have to deal with you, little Congresswoman. What you need to worry about is hiring a really good attorney because you're a fucking fraudster and your ass needs to go back to Somalia. Okay, let's continue here, and you're going to see the little spray and you're going to see the reaction. But look at the cameraman. So happens to be right here. So let's watch.
Resign or face impeachment?
Oh. Look at that. Oh, she punched him? Wait a minute. What's that? Wait a minute. Let's go back because this is priceless. We got to do slow mo. You know, we do slow mo here. We got to go slow mo. Let's take a look here. Take out the sound. Oh, he sprayed her with some juice, some booty juice. Oh, look, he's spraying her. Look, she put her fist up. Look. Like she was gonna punch him. Oh, and the cameraman so happens to take all the footage. Cameraman. It's so convenient. So convenient. Oh, here comes more cameras going to the side here. You don't think this was a setup? Look at her bad acting over here. Look at this one over here. This better. Oh yeah, get those cameras. We have to put it. This is breaking news. Everyone, get their cameras. Look, all the cameras. Look. They're not even paying attention to Omar. They're going straight to the guy. She's the one that got sprayed, but all of them are going straight to the guy. And look at this cameraman over here. Where is he going? The one that was behind Omar. I call this this is a setup. Something smells, and you can't trust these Somalis because they do stuff like this. They tend to do stuff like this. And I don't trust this lady for anything, for nothing. But let's go ahead to go normal. And let's listen in. Happens.
Or face impeachment?
There's some white juice on her. Look.
I don't know.
Oh my God, he sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing.
She's not worried because it's all part of the setup.
We will continue this.
Listen, if you get sprayed like that as a politician, the first thing you think is a bioweapon. You think of a weapon that you know what? Let me play it one more time, but I'm going to play it big so you guys can see it. Like, I want you to see the booty juice she gets sprayed on. Oh, look at that. I freezed it right on time there. Here, look. Why this cameraman is standing just perfectly to catch that incident. Like the perfect angle to catch this dude spraying on her. This is all set up. Come on, man. Listen, I got plenty of bridges I own here in Connecticut, if you believe me or not, but I give you a really good deal on one of them. If you believe this bullshit, you'll believe mine's.
Must resign or face impeachment. I don't know.
Oh my God, he sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing. No. We will continue. These fucking assholes are not going to get away with it.
So the Somali guy, who is this one that married? That got married to her? I don't know. I don't know who these Somalis are.
That's whatever it is smells so bad. She needs to go get checked. I don't know
That's
what
they want.
No, it's not about him, Ilma.
Okay, so obviously there was a lot of chaos in that moment. You heard some bad language. We apologize for that. But basically what it looks like here is that a man from the audience charged.
You should have pushed her in the face.
Woman Omar when she was talking about Secretary Kristi Noem, and then trying to spray some kind of substance on her. And important to note, we have
If he
no
really
idea
wanted
what
to
that
make an
substance
impact,
was right now.
he
It
should
could
have
be any
punched her
number
right
of
in the
things.
mug.
This happened roughly 15 minutes ago as this news conference was being live streamed. Officials are encouraging the town hall to end out of safety concerns, saying, you know, you could see the man had said, and the people around her telling her that she had been sprayed with something. But right now, Ilhan Omar insisting that she continue this. The man, we are told, was apprehended, and the town hall is still ongoing right now as she addresses her constituents in a place obviously fraught with a lot of unrest, in a place that has been really the focus of the entire country. So it remains to be seen what this person will be charged with, if anything, what that
I don't know. They're acting a little bit too like nonchalant.
Does seem, for all intents and purposes, that Congresswoman Omar
Where's the
is
police?
okay and continuing on.
Oh, there's
We will
no
continue
police
to
in
check on this story
Minnesota.
as we get any more details about exactly what happened there.
Oh, what an idiot. She got sprayed. Maybe it'll help her smell better. Probably stink like shit.
Startling new video shows the moment a 19-month-old baby falls out of a moving vehicle and onto the road
Oh my
at a
God.
busy intersection in Fullerton. That child's mother has been arrested and is facing charges of child abuse.
The child was rushed to the hospital, but is expected to be okay. Jillian Smuckler is live in Fullerton with more on what happened. Jillian?
Hi, Sharon, Micah. Yeah, just hard to watch all around. It happened in this intersection behind me. That moment caught on camera, and now millions of people have seen that video online. Of course, as you just mentioned, that child falling out of a moving SUV. And nearly a week after it happened, the child's mother is now in custody.
Oh my God.
The video
week?
is hard to
Look at this.
watch. You can see a black SUV making a turn Tuesday morning when the front passenger door suddenly swings open.
It
A
swings
toddler
open,
can
drop
be
the
seen
baby.
tumbling out of the vehicle onto the asphalt and landing right in the middle of the intersection. The
God.
SUV then stops abruptly, forcing the driver behind it to slam on the brakes,
my
coming to a
God.
stop just inches from the child. Moments later, a woman rushes from the driver's seat, scoops up the child, places them back in the SUV, and drives away.
It's criminal. Obviously, the child doesn't look to be in car seat or any safety measure taken when it's necessary to
Andrew,
get
that's what I was thinking about.
anybody
The
from point A
slipper-
to point B.
Police later identified the woman as
like dodging it.
35-year-old Jacqueline
playing
Hernandez
dodgeball?
of La Habra and says she's the child's mother. They say the toddler suffered injuries consistent with the fall and was taken to the hospital, but is expected to be okay.
I'm unaware of where the child is or who they're with.
Despite the dramatic scene, police say they didn't receive any 911 calls when it happened. But the video later
Wow.
exploded on social media, garnering hundreds of thousands of views. It sparked widespread outrage among many parents, including one local mom who ended up showing that video to police.
I'm a mom of 4, so seeing that baby fall out of the car, my heart stopped for the baby, especially because I work across the street from there and cars are always speeding and not paying attention.
She's demanding answers and accountability as she tries to process how a child could fall from a moving car.
I was absolutely shocked that no one said, hey, let me call the police and let them know what
Yeah.
just happened. Even if, let's say, she had gotten away, even with just like a license plate to give to the police.
But days later, a witness who saw what happened firsthand came forward. That tip led investigators to a residence in La Habra where police say they located the woman, the SUV, and the child seen in that video.
Oh my God.
And that woman you just heard from, she actually works at this animal hospital, which is really right across from the intersection where it happened. You heard her talk about how she always sees cars speeding here, driving recklessly. Well, we just saw there is a camera showing a different angle of the intersection. So she tells us she's been asked to talk to police tomorrow, hand over some of that video. So they're hoping this helps with the investigation. But again, if you know anything, saw anything, or just have any information to share, you're asked to call Fullerton Police. I'll send it back to you in Hollywood.
Crazy. Let's keep it moving.
Road conditions improved this afternoon on the highways, but before the thaw this morning, they were a dangerous place to be. Fox 4's Alex Boyer has been on the roads all day and joins us live. Hey, Alex.
Hey, Clarice, we are currently on I-20 westbound in Arlington. Much better than it looked this morning. I'm going to flip the camera around. There you go. You can see about 4 lanes in total getting by at this hour. Folks seemingly driving at what I would consider normal speeds, although it would be a good idea to go below that, since, of course, at any moment you could hit a patch of black ice underneath one of these overpasses that we're coming up on and lose control. As you mentioned, though, very different situation. Let's take a look at some of what we saw earlier.
Chloe, look, this is your neighborhood.
The Tuesday morning commute got off to a slippery and dangerous start.
They're crashing.
Yeah,
oh my God, look.
That's the voice of Fox 4 photojournalist Yuni Tarango reacting to this SUV that slid and hit the median wall on Interstate 30 in Grand Prairie, then overcorrected and hit the barrier again. Just down the road, a car was up on the barrier. Car? We talked to a driver who damaged his car while on the way into work.
I was trying to drive to work. I got on a little bridge and it slid all the way down. I messed up my tire, my wheel bearing on my car, so I'm having to fix that.
He's not alone in his tales of driving.
This little truck, it's the tailgate part is pretty light, so you got to be cautious of the traction. This is not my first day out. Yesterday I went out and got stuck.
You can see even 18-wheelers were having a tough time getting around. We did pass TechStop crews helping to clear the highways.
Right now.
We ran into them in the parking lot of Fuel City in Dallas. When they stopped to refuel, so do their blockers.
It's the left lanes where it's not heavy. It's not a lot of heavy traffic there.
Henry Edwards and his crew have been working alongside TechStop crews since the start of the winter storm.
What has it been like today compared to the other days? A lot of people getting that false, I think, feeling that, we're above freezing, it's time to get out on the roads.
No. Do not get on the road because it's still bad. I mean, it's a couple cars almost hit me today.
I feel like today is more messy. It's more water, more ice. You don't know what you're slipping into. That's the thing, about it right now. People think it's the sun's clearing it off, but it's really not. We're out here just doing what we got to do.
Evelyn Montoya said she's grateful to Fox 4 for helping her maneuver through the winter storm.
I'm literally always on Fox 4 News. We work by the weather. Unfortunately, we got to work this weather, because it's dangerous.
It is indeed another reminder to keep the WAP handy. And as we come back out here live, I can tell you in the last couple of minutes while we were in this story, we did pass a Nissan Altima that was down in a median and the driver out of its car. Thankfully, it looked like a tow truck was coming up to assist. So again, while conditions seemingly, Clarice, look good right now with the sun still shining, we know how quickly things can change.
Yeah, beautiful view from the drive cam. Thanks to you and photojournalist John Ganan. And if you don't need to go out, folks, do stay home tonight.
Yeah, stay at home. Don't go door dashing, Chloe. Stay home. Keep it moving.
Of the 3 boys who died in an icy pond is talking to us about the tragedy.
Yeah, she says a coach actually tried to save them. Shandy Murray was able to talk to the mother, is here with her just tragic story.
Horrible. I think for any of us who are parents, it's impossible to even imagine what she's going through right now, and the fact that she even had the strength to hop on and do an interview with us over Zoom this morning, but she really
Wow,
wants other
Chloe.
parents
Don't
to
worry,
be
I'm gonna put my
aware
order in
and
this
to
week,
learn
Chloe.
from this. So she wants to get that message out. Cheyenne Hangeman told me that she tried to save her boys yesterday. They were all staying at a friend's
put
house
it in
near Bonham
on
Lake in
Friday.
Fannin County. Hangeman says the home had a
Oh,
small
they're
pond in
cute.
back, and she told the boys to stay away from it. She says they didn't listen. The youngest, 6-year-old Howard, went in and the ice broke. The other boys, 9-year-old EJ and 8-year-old Caleb, tried to save him. Their sister ran to Cheyenne and told her the boys were drowning. Here's what she said about that moment.
I start running towards the pond and I jump in and I try to save them. Also trying to keep myself alive because the water is freezing. And as soon as I jumped in, lock up. Like I couldn't really hardly do anything. It was just one of me and 3 of them, and they were all needing me at one time, and I just couldn't save them. My oldest one, EJ, he didn't care about nothing but football and getting his haircut. Like he loved football. He wanted to play sports. Caleb's personality was out of this world. He was the sweetest soul I ever met.
Oh my God.
And Howard, he was just goofy. He liked to liven the party. He was hard-headed, really hard-headed.
Yeah,
he was
he
the
doesn't
first
seem
one that
bad
went in,
at all.
and the other boys tried to save him first. That's how they all ended up in there.
But she is grieving. You could tell her face.
Cheyenne
but,
tells
oh
me
my
a man
God.
nearby, the head football coach at Bonham High School, John Ramsey,
Oh.
heard the commotion and ran over. He threw a rope to Cheyenne and helped pull her out, but the boys were gone. And she told me she wanted to talk to us in hopes that other parents will realize just how fast something like this can happen, how dangerous these conditions can be. I mean, she said when she jumped in that water, it was like a shock, and she just locked up.
Yeah,
She was
it's freezing
frozen
water. Hello.
couldn't even figure out how to move. She said that Coach Ramsey told her, use your elbows to break the ice, and she was trying to break the ice so that she could get to the rope to get out. So just, I can imagine just a absolutely terrifying moment.
And good conversations for parents to have with their kids if they live anywhere near a body of water. It might look like it's frozen, but that doesn't mean it can support the weight of a
And she
person.
says she was in the backyard by her car. And so she was in that area. And it just happened so fast.
Didn't have her eyes on them?
Yeah, we don't normally share GoFundMes, but the mom did say that the one that we are sharing on social media is the one that will go directly to her. So at least we have confirmation on that.
We'll share that link on our website and on our social medias as well if people want to help.
It's just such a hard story.
Damn, man, that sucks. Poor little boys. Let's keep it moving. What the fuck? Who is this person? With the shoes on the pant. What? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
Это бизнес-класс.
Я готова с дороги, что прикладывала. Какой-то помсия бывает. Это как говорится, человек вышел из грязи, в грязь человека не попадает.
Разговаривали, как говорили.
Oh, I would have put that bitch in the face. I would have put her ass in an ankle lock. You're telling her put her feet down. Look at this shit. Look. She's doing it on purpose. She is doing it on purpose.
Люди с ума сходят.
Yo, if you punch a bitch in the face, I guarantee those feet come down. That's all it takes. Don't punch that bitch in the face. Oh, hell
Это
no.
бизнес-класс.
I will put that bitch on the floor. I will put her in a fucking... I will put her in a sharpshooter. I will torture her.
Разговаривали, как говорили.
Hell no, Chloe. Andrea, what were you supposed to have done if someone did this to you? Oh, hell to the no. And the fact that she was clicking her feet above the chair like that, you don't know what the fuck she has underneath her feet. Dirty ass feet. Look, 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 look. Oh no, 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 no. Oh no.
Люди с ума сходят.
Mm-mm. This is a part where you say, I wish this would happen to me. That's a green card for me to punch you in your motherfucking face. I will take your motherfucking shoe right off your motherfucking foot and I'll slap you right in the motherfucking face with your damn shoe. And then let's see if you're gonna keep doing it. Oh man. What would you do? What would you do if a passenger did that to you? Tell you right now, it ain't gonna be pretty. I'll fuck a bitch up. I don't care if it's male or female. Bitch, you're gonna get hit.
Well, police are still searching for a New York teenager who's been missing for more than 2 weeks.
What?
His parents believe he traveled to New York City to meet someone that he met on the gaming platform Roblox. Officials say 15-year-old Thomas Medlin was last seen at Grand Central Station in Manhattan on January 9th. Thomas's mother, Eva Yan, joins us now. Eva, thank you for coming on to talk about your son. What exactly happened on January 9th, two weeks ago?
So on January 9th was Friday. In the morning, he told us, "Mom, I will stay in school, just hang out with friends and the dorm, and please pick me up at 9 p.m." So around 9 p.m., we're sure because we encourage all this social interaction with friends, with kids. He said he never did that before. So at 9 p.m., my husband went to pick him up. And he waited, couldn't find him. So I told him, please reach out to the security. And he left the name with us because in the morning we were asking him, whom you're going to hang out with. And he immediately reached out to the friend, and the friend said, I only went to class with him today, and I did not hang out with him. So all the security from campus got involved looking for Thomas, and I went to all the dorm, couldn't find him. The search went up to 12 o'clock in the morning, and my husband and my friend and I went out to look for him like 1 o'clock in the 12:30. Yeah. After that, we reported to Suffolk County Police.
Okay, and you found out that he had, right after school at 3:30, had rushed over to the Stony Brook train station out on Long Island, taken the train into Grand Central. And I know the week before he had asked you, Mom, will you take me to Times Square? I really want to go to Times Square. Was he having chats with someone on Roblox? I know that surveillance video showed him on the platform in Grand Central. They tracked him, I think, based on his phone over the Brooklyn Bridge. And he was notified. The notification said he was last seen in Brooklyn or last appeared in Brooklyn. Was he chatting with someone on Roblox? Was he going into the city to meet someone that he was in correspondence with on Roblox?
That was some friend told school. Thomas was talking to him, said, I met somebody through Roblox. I want to go meet this person. I believe this friend from school told him, said, don't go. It's not that safe. You have to watch out. So we didn't know all this. We found out when has been missing so long. So that was the latest information. What struck me during this time, because the time passed by each day, it become unbearable for us, is when the officer and detectives trying to get information, it take a long time for all the social media to release the information. Even when sometimes when I call, I say I have a missing child. It's a minor.
Did Roblox
police
release
still trying to
anything?
act.
What'd you find out? Did Roblox tell you these messages?
I don't. At the last time I spoke to the detective, I believe it just released some of the information, but it's just still working through what else is out there. Couldn't find a lot of information, but still active working with Roblox.
So you have not seen any messages. Were there messages between your son and whoever you think he was going to meet?
No.
What about the information?
What he did, yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. You can't Roblox go into the account, your son's account, and see who he's talking to, and then tell you who he was meeting and find out that person's location?
No, not yet, because what happened initially when he set up the Roblox, the email would come to my personal email account. In order for him to change it, it would come like 2 codes with me. But secretly, he was able to break that, switch it to different Roblox account. I found out there's like 5 different Roblox account, and he set up his own personal email through the cloud. So this whole thing, was very unclear to me. So it was almost bypassed my email. He was able to, set up different security word. So he was almost left us like under dust.
Yeah.
That was what happened.
Eva, let me share with you what Roblox is saying. They say, we share everyone's hope for Thomas Medlin's safe return, and our thoughts are with him and his family. We conducted a thorough review to support law enforcement's investigation and found no attempts to direct him to an off-platform communication method or sharing of off-platform contact information, including users' names, phone numbers, or other communication methods. We will continue to provide any assistance that we can. So this is a chance. If your son is watching, what is your message?
I just want him to know we love him deeply, and he's not in trouble at all. Whatever he did,
he is in trouble.
And please, we just want to tell us
gone.
Because thinking about that each day, will he be? Is he safe?
What is she talking about?
Put us, and it's like in hell, more than hell. So that's a deep message. We love him so much. We want him even send us a message. Whoever this person he's staying
2
with,
weeks gone.
Have a kind of heart. Let us parents know, or the family friend know, he's safe. Nobody's gonna harm him. That's the big message. Whenever he's ready to come home, let us know when we pick him up. And he's not in trouble at all. We love him more than anything in our life.
I know you say he's intellectually, he's just brilliant beyond his age.
Yeah, but he's doing some dumbass shit.
15, which is at 9th grade. What can the public know about your son? What is he like?
Gay?
He has been involved a lot. He's very athletic. Very loving person, has a very good heart. He played tennis, played ping pong with me, very good ping pong player. He's a world traveler. We have been taking him to Italy, to Greece, to Vancouver, to China, to Japan, to Canada, to so many places. He has been traveling almost every year. And also he's a black diamond skier. We bring him to ski every single year. Wow. And also we have a cabin in New York.
January 9th.
He's a snowmobile rider, a dirt bike rider. He plays piano, went to Carnegie Hall to play, won the 2nd place internationally. Wow.
These parents are Chinese, so weird.
Speaks Spanish, Chinese taken for more than 10 years.
Yeah. Eva.
And everybody he crossed in life. Yeah. Loves him.
You have given him a great life, and I know he wants to come home. If anyone has any information, please call police to help bring Thomas Medlin back home. He's only 15 years old and has a whole life ahead of him.
Yeah,
Thank
right.
you so much. God bless
That's
you.
crazy.
I'm saying prayers for him.
He's been gone for since the 9th.
Thank you so much for putting me on the air. Hopefully he can see me. I will flew
more than 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks.
God bless you. We'll be right back.
I'm Steve Ducey.
That's crazy.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to.
The kid's only 15 years old. How come there's no more authorities on this? How come this is not national news? How come, I don't know. It's just weird times. That Roblox thing, I don't trust that. Anything like those, you got to be careful with your younglings, because these younglings, they're young, dumb, full of cum, and they do stupid shit, especially preteens. Got to keep an eye on them like a hawk, because they will get into trouble and they will hide it from you. That's wild. Let's keep it moving. Got more to watch.
Well, a Massachusetts family is asking for your help after their loved one was found dead in St. Louis. He was headed to Vegas when family lost track of him here. Fox Files investigator Chris Hayes is looking into his disappearance and mysterious death.
When I go to Vegas, I am not stopping anywhere.
For 5 days in December, 2 sisters and a girlfriend in Massachusetts
were desperately trying to find James Wilder when his cell phone went dead, right about here near the Greyhound bus terminal in downtown St. Louis.
We just weren't getting any answers, but it's been about 5 days since he initially went missing before we got the terrible news.
That's Wilder's girlfriend, Zaquaya Withers. She says James was a photographer headed to Vegas for a job when his car broke down in Joplin. His family then bought him a bus ticket to return to Massachusetts.
It stopped in St. Louis, and he never made it back on the bus.
Wilder's last known cell phone location is right there near the Greyhound terminal at 14th and Clark. He was walking north towards the Enterprise Center. Wilder's sisters then got involved.
When she lost the location, we panicked.
They filed a missing persons report, and then 5 days later, on December 13th, they said police reported Wilder was found dead in the back of a postal delivery truck less than 1/2 of a mile away from the bus station.
They said that someone had interacted with him from the United Postal Service. An employee had interacted with him, and just within minutes, he was deceased.
So there was no investigation being
Are they going to blame
on his behalf.
the Postal
James
Service?
was not a homeless person.
St. Louis police confirm there is no current criminal investigation unless a pending autopsy demands otherwise. I checked with the medical examiner, who told me it'll take at least 6 weeks to determine how he died. I also called the postal inspector, who told me postal police initially responded and then turned it over to St. Louis police.
I'm hoping that someone will reach out to us.
We've been trying to find answers.
Well, why you got your asses over there?
Many doors have been shut on us.
Wilder's sister, Janaea Wilder, hopes the public can help. She
Why you
says
don't go to
James
St.
also
Louis?
sometimes went by the name Jasmine. If you saw Wilder downtown between December 8th and December 13th, call police or contact me through this report at fox2now.com.
These people
For the
don't
Fox
remember
Files,
that shit.
I'm Chris Hayes.
These people are short-minded. They're not going to know what the fuck happened in December. They don't even know what happened yesterday. Let's keep it moving.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's your meme of the day, brought to you by 5mind.com. Well, this, my friends, this is exactly what I like to see. And it's what I've been urging over the last couple of days. Do not give in for even a second. Don't back down as the left-wing propaganda machine is in full gear. Ultimately, it'll be our undoing. And while some people are selling it as, oh, the right political play to make, oh, it's the proper political calculus, it is not. You are simply, in my view, a coward. You're getting cold feet. You're getting intimidated by the fake outrage and the propaganda. They're trying to scare you into turning on President Trump, turning against the agenda, and doing exactly what they demand, pulling ICE out of Minnesota. And, you know, I'd really like to know how that's the proper political calculus. I hear so many people saying, oh, we're going to get swept in the midterm. The midterm supposed to happen. Historically, that's what happens every time. And this notion that Democrats are steering towards an inevitable blue wave, well, it's just not the reality. It's not the case. They're actually historically in a very weak position in terms of generic ballot advantage. And the idea that if you give into their bogus narrative that ICE is Gestapo and Donald Trump is terrorizing Minnesota, I mean, if you start pulling back now, you're going to give the Democrats everything they ever wanted. You give them the narrative, but it's a bogus narrative. Alex Preddy was not murdered by CBP in cold blood as Donald Trump is terrorizing Minnesota with his Gestapo forces. That is objectively not the case. And so politically, you don't give the Democrats what they want. No, you fight like hell. You make valid arguments. You prove your position. And most importantly, you use the leverage of the federal government to expose these Democrats and force them to do the right thing. And luckily, while a lot of these neocon cowards are getting cold feet, once again, they seem willing to cower to the media and the Democrat mob. Well, Donald Trump is holding strong. Donald Trump is doubling down. Instead of backing off, he's instead now sending Tom Homan to take charge of operations in Minnesota. In other words, things just got real. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so exactly like I said, Tom Homan is officially on the ground in Minnesota.
Now, President Trump has deployed border czar Tom Homan on his way to Minnesota right now. And the president made clear in his statement on Truth Social that Homan will report directly to President Trump when it comes to this issue in Minneapolis and Minnesota, I should say?
Absolutely perfect. You need to keep the pressure up. Do not fall for the propaganda, get emotional, get scared, look at all the push polls that are being released and say, oh, we need to reverse course immediately. Absolutely not, especially not if you're doing the right thing. And again, I ask what the expectation is here. To withdraw ICE? To just give in to the Democrats' psyop? To allow them to continue misinforming the people? To pull out of the state and just allow Democrats to continue on with all their fraud and mass illegal immigration replacement? Never. It cannot happen. And the idea that you would use the midterms as a reason for doing so, that's got to be the most short-sighted thing imaginable. At this point, give the Democrats the midterms. It's not even guaranteed they're going to get a Senate majority. Let's say the current polling outlook, which has Democrats favored to win, ends up materializing. We're looking at possibly them taking over the House. Meanwhile, the Senate remaining highly competitive. What's that going to change? What's that going to do? The obstruction, the sabotage is going to happen anyways. They're already talking about shutting down the government. Let them do it because they're going to do it anyways. And when it comes to playing these negative optics games and turning everything into an existential threat to humanity, again, they're going to do that anyways. If Donald Trump pulls ICE, they're going to jump to the next thing, the next humanitarian catastrophe. It's always the same thing with these Democrats. You need to stand firm and you need to push forward, especially, again, if you're doing the right thing. What Donald Trump needs to do right now is not cower, but rather continue the pressure and force Tim Walz's hand. And funnily enough, that appears to be exactly what's happening. The Trump administration has not indicated whatsoever they're pulling out here.
Just got a statement from the office of Minnesota Governor Tim Walz about his conversation with President Trump that we reported on earlier. The governor's office called it productive, adding, quote, the president agreed that he would talk to the Department of Homeland Security about ensuring the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is able to conduct an independent investigation, as would ordinarily be the case. The president also agreed to look into reducing the number of federal agents in Minnesota and working with the state in a more coordinated fashion on immigration enforcement regarding violent criminals.
Now, it appears to the contrary. Donald Trump is putting pressure on Tim Walz to start coordinating with ICE. And again, that is the issue. The issue is not ICE. The issue is not CBP. The issue is Tim Walz and Democrats refusing to coordinate with federal authorities, refusing to release these criminals into federal custody. And Tim Walz, his excuse is, oh, we've never done that. No, we've never done that. He was quoted as saying, there is not a single documented case of the departments releasing someone from state prison without offering to ensure a smooth transfer of custody. But this is completely misleading. His prisons are technically honoring ICE detainers by transferring convicted criminal aliens after they serve their sentence. But the cities and the county jails do not. And what ICE wants are the criminal aliens that are arrested for crimes handed to them instead of being released onto the streets. But they're not doing that because they have all the sanctuary city laws. Well, now's time to make him do it. The ICE pressure should continue. And like Donald Trump discussed with Tim Walz, if you want less federal presence in your state, you better start cooperating. Because again, it's actually not necessary to have all these ICE operations on the street. The only reason it's happening is because you've got a few select areas across the country that are doing everything in their power to sow chaos. Actually, I have the perfect breakdown to really put that into perspective. I got this post here from Kevin Bass. He writes, I am horrified. I cannot believe it. I analyzed public databases and media reporting on violent confrontations with ICE over the past year. Just 9 counties accounted for 2/3 of violent confrontations with ICE in America. This is twice all violent confrontations in the remaining 3,134 counties combined. So you've got 9 counties that account for more violence and confrontation with ICE than the next 3,100 all combined together. I'll put the graphic he released here up on screen. Just look at it. That wins the argument. The left is on the wrong side. You do not cower in these instances. You push forward. You beat the propaganda. You win on the arguments. You stick to the facts. And you also wait for emotions to die down. Democrats, of course, are riding on their high as so many people are jumping on the emotional bandwagon. But slowly but surely, as the debate continues to mature on the issue, people are going to start realizing that the Democrat presentation is incorrect. And you know what? Even if it was correct, even if this was an unjustified shooting, the idea that you would again throw the baby out with the bathwater makes no sense. Okay, let's say, for sake of of conversation, this was an unjustified shooting. You don't riot on the streets. You don't blame one individual's actions for the entire department. No, you investigate and litigate that particular instance. You ensure the proper legal process is followed. You don't go rioting in the streets. You don't start randomly attacking people. You don't continue these mob assaults on ICE agents. And this whole notion that Donald Trump, the way Donald Trump's doing it, well, that's what's leading to all the death and chaos. But this is complete BS. In fact, despite all the objective terrorism on the streets that we're seeing from the left, these ICE operations are actually extremely clean. And based on certain analysis, even cleaner than the Obama years. Look at this post from Ann Coulter. She writes, John Lott ran the numbers. Here they are in clip and save format. Of 170 U.S. citizens detained by ICE, roughly 130 were arrested for interfering with or assaulting officers, according to the left-leaning ProPublica. That makes Donald Trump's error rate 0.0067%. Obama's error rate was 0.225%, 3 times the Trump error rate. Under Donald Trump, there's been 1 death for every 18,594 detainees. Under Obama, there was 1 death for every 14,314 detainees. Under Trump, the number of American citizens accidentally deported, none, 0. Under Obama, the number of American citizens accidentally deported, 4. Come on. There's no justification for anything the left is claiming. They are lying through their teeth. The problem is not Donald Trump's ICE Gestapo. The problem is the anti-ICE rioting, the chaos, the domestic terrorism, the mob intimidation campaigns that we're seeing that are being enabled by people like Tim Walz. Well, it's time to put a foot down. Because again, as much as Democrats claim that, oh, the American people do not want this, and they keep, shifting the goalpost as if the American people didn't vote for this. No, Donald Trump said he was going to only go after the criminals, not all illegal aliens. Well, again, that's not true. That's not what he said. Mass deportations are, well, mass deportations. And secondly, well, look at the polling data. It hasn't really changed.
Deport all immigrants here illegally. I will note the ABC News poll asked about undocumented immigrants. So we have slightly different questions, but these were all taken within the last month. And there's real uniformity here. That's what I really think you see. You see real uniformity. Deport all immigrants who are here illegally. 55% of the New York Times. Marquette, 64%. CBS News, 57%. ABC News with a slightly different question, 56%. So what you're seeing essentially here is a very clear indication that a majority of Americans, in fact, when they're asked this blunt question, which I believe gets at the underlying feelings, do in fact want to deport all immigrants who are here illegally. There's no arguing with these different numbers because they're all essentially the same.
Across the data, the American people want all illegals deported. No exceptions. There is zero reason to back down. No, now is time to expose all of these people. Now is time to really start flexing federal power and to force these Democrat leaders' hands. They have to do the right thing, cooperate with the feds, follow the law, accept the supremacy clause, respect the Constitution, respect the president, respect the will of the American electorate, and clear the streets. These people that are on the streets violently rioting, stalking, harassing, illegally collecting federal license plates, doxing ICE agents, they have to be held to account. And if they don't do it, which is likely, Tim Walz is acting like he's going to cooperate here, but he won't. Well, if he won't do it, then just do it. Enforce the law. Declare these riots a threat to public order and start arresting these people one after another. Enough is enough. It is simply unacceptable what these federal agents are having to deal with on a daily basis. And that is clearly the problem. You don't win in politics by giving in to the other side's ridiculous, demented, lawless demands. You don't save the midterms by literally giving the Democrats exactly what they want as they attempt to blackmail you with their bogus propaganda. And clearly no one wins. The American people do not win when you enable their lawless BS. Donald Trump was elected to do a job, now do it. And if that means bolstering the numbers, especially in a place like Minnesota where the chaos is completely out of control, then do it. Otherwise, you walk down the same path as the neocons of old, the same path of failure that led to this 2 decades of left-wing domination. It's time to stay the course, and of course do so strategically, because giving in would send the absolute worst message. It would essentially tell the Democrats that all their efforts worked. All the lies about U.S. citizens being deported, harassed, terrorized, children being ripped off the streets. The lie that Alex Preddy did nothing wrong and ICE agents just executed him. That Renee Good was just minding her own business, taking her kids to school, and an ICE agent just indiscriminately murdered her. You would send the message that this stuff works, that that's how you win in politics, and that is simply a precedent that cannot be allowed. Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right, let's go to the next one because he said he had the next one. Let's watch the Bribe Mind.
Guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by 5mind.com. Well, you know, it's like I always say, I don't understand how there isn't a clear consensus that these Democrats are essentially terrorist freaking actors at this point, because it's not exactly like they're slick, you know? The Democrats are a lot of things, and in a lot of ways, they're great strategists. They're great at setting up these psyop situations that benefit them. They're great at fomenting chaos. But when it comes to the rhetoric, there are so many bad actors and untalented hacks who just can't walk that tightrope, and they just end up, you know, basically spilling the frickin' beans. They want you to believe that they're outraged over what happened to Alex Preddy, but if you have basic common sense, there's no outrage to be had here. Is it a shit situation? Is it unfortunate? Sure, but he's not the victim they're pretending he is, and their heart never bleeds for other victims where the case is actually tragic. Irina Zarutska comes to mind. Charlie Kirk comes to mind. It's not about the life that was lost. No, it's about the context and how it can be manipulated for political gain. And again, don't take my word for it, because I don't even need to necessarily say it, because the Democrats themselves are essentially saying the quiet part out loud themselves. They're admitting it. I got some shocking clips to show you guys, but I think this is really going to put it into clear perspective. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so let's first start off with Tim Walz here. Of course, the moron mastermind at the core of all of this. Well, Tim Walz just said this.
So now we've got 2 Minnesotans dead. We didn't had time to start telling Renee's story of a poet and a mother and a bright spirit, and now we're telling Alex's story. So my question is, what's the plan, Donald Trump? What is the plan? What do we need to do to get these federal agents out of our state? You thought fear, violence, and chaos is what you wanted from us, and you clearly underestimated the people of this state and nation. We are tired, but we're resolved. We're peaceful, but we'll never forget. We're angry, but we won't give up hope. And above all else, we are clearly unified. If it was the intention of Donald Trump to make an example of Minnesota, then I'm damn proud of the example that the world sees.
Idiot.
We believe in law and order in this state. We believe in peace. And we believe that Donald Trump needs to pull these 3,000 untrained agents out of Minnesota before they kill another person.
They are trained.
And we're up here telling another story of a Minnesotan just trying to live their life without the interference.
Again, they don't actually give a crap about Alex Preddy. They don't give a crap about Renee Good. They only care about how this can now be politicized. And the same thing is true with George Floyd. Everything's partisan gamesmanship. And I mentioned Charlie Kirk earlier. I think that's the perfect example. You know, I got to tell you, it's kind of hard for me to jump on this whole tragedy bandwagon over Alex Preddy's life when it's coming from the people who basically celebrated Charlie Kirk's political assassination. And those who didn't celebrate it, well, they either trashed him and slandered him as an evil racist, or refused to say anything after one of their leftist terrorists took his life so senselessly. And really, to put that into perspective, this just happened the other day.
It was Charlie Kirk for a drag number.
Oh Lord, what the fuck is this? What is this?
They're still celebrating and mocking the death of Charlie Kirk, but now we're supposed to jump on this pity party for Alex Preddy? Not gonna happen. And you know what? Charlie Kirk was an actual victim. Charlie Kirk did nothing wrong. He was assassinated senselessly. The circumstances that led to Alex Preddy's death are largely due to his own poor decision-making. He put himself in that situation. But of course, we can't even have that conversation. They'll never even engage on those terms because they do not care about Alex Preddy. They do not care about human life unless it can be politicized. These people are frickin' cannon fodder for the DNC. That's the reality. And that's why we're seeing across social media, they're celebrating the political implications of this. Tim Walz going, oh, we love the optics of this. This does our political bidding. And we got Andrew frickin' Yang, another colossal loser. He posted this. I think the administration is going to lose a lot of its supporters over the killing of Alex Preddy. His death won't be in vain. Instantly, brain goes to, ooh, what kind of political gains can we get from this? It's absolutely disgusting. And the mask off moments are dropping one after another. Here's another one from the Minneapolis police chief, Brian O'Hara. He again is saying the quiet part out loud. And I notice that's a trend with these Minnesota public officials.
From what you have seen in the public space and heard from federal officials, is there any evidence that you know of that Preddy was assaulting the federal officers as the Border Patrol chief claims?
Well, I've seen the videos just as thousands of people around the country have, and the videos speak for themselves. I think it's deeply concerning, the things that are being said. This is an individual that was a city resident. It appears that he was present, exercising his First Amendment rights to record law enforcement activity, and also exercising his Second Amendment rights to lawfully be armed in a public space in the city. Very obviously, there are serious questions that are being raised, and I think the greater issue is, even if there is an investigation that ultimately proves that at the time of the shooting it was legally justified, I don't think that even matters at this point, because there is so much outrage and concern around what is happening in the city.
What do you mean it doesn't matter at this point? You mean the situation on the ground is already, the impression is left?
People have had enough. This is the third shooting now in less than 3 weeks. The Minneapolis Police Department went the entire year last year recovering about 900 guns from the street, arresting hundreds and hundreds of violent offenders, and we didn't shoot anyone. And now this is the second American citizen that's been killed. It's the third shooting within 3 weeks. People have been speaking out, saying that this was going to happen again. And I think everyone is kind of waiting for folks on both sides to come together and just figure this thing out.
Did you hear that? Quote, even if the investigation proves that the shooting was legally justified, I don't think that even matters. Well, obviously, the facts don't matter. They never did, because the out-of-context clip and all the inflammatory rhetoric surrounding it, like Tim Walz, again, comparing ICE to Nazi Germany.
Many of us grew up reading that story of Anne Frank. Somebody's going to write that children's story about Minnesota.
The leftist mob just needed their excuse to engage in outrage, mob chaos. It's so obvious what this is. It's obvious what's going on. This is what Jacob Fry was prophesying all those weeks ago when he was saying someone is going to die, whether it's an ICE agent or someone on the street. Yeah, pretty easy prediction to make when you're using all your idiotic propagandized followers as cannon fodder again on the streets. What do people think? This is why I don't understand the outrage. What do you think is going to happen when you wage war on the federal government? That you can engage in these types of seditious activities without a single casualty? That you can show up to these events armed, physically confront these officers, resist arrest, and that it's going to end well for you? Come on, you have to be an idiot to not see what's going on here. And again, about these people not being slick about it, take a look at this snippet from Axios. Fox News describes it as Democrats told to get shot for the anti-Trump resistance. Quote, the grassroots wants more. Some of them have suggested what we really need to do is be willing to get shot when visiting ICE facilities or federal agencies, a third House Democrat told Axios. They're not even slick about it. 2 words, cannon fodder. And you could tell by the double standard of outrage. When Ashley Babbitt was shot, Democrats called her a terrorist and said she deserved it. Well, she was actually unarmed and she was not posing a threat, and yet she got executed. Then what happened to the Capitol security guy who engaged in that totally disgusting, unjustified shooting? He was given a promotion. Then you have this Renee Good situation, this Alex Preddy situation, and instantly all the Democrats claim that he's a hero and a victim and a martyr, and all the ICE agents should be charged and probably given the death penalty, and they're indiscriminately just murdering Americans on Trump's behalf. It's disgusting, and I can't believe that they could get away with it. Well, to a certain extent, I understand why. It's because the mainstream media is carrying their water, they're pushing all the BS. But, it's just hard for me to grasp. When Charlie Kirk was assassinated, it didn't cause this kind of a political earthquake. You didn't see immediate shit in the polls. It was a real tragedy. It's the stuff of the black pill, the way the Democrats can manipulate so many people. Somehow this is working. Somehow people are falling for it, and it's really just baffling. Well, hopefully people are paying attention. Hopefully people are waking up. They're understanding the fake outrage here, the double standard in outrage, the clear political implications and manipulations. Hopefully people are smart enough. Hopefully people are paying attention, because I feel like it's just so blatantly freaking obvious. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right, let's keep it moving. Trish Reagan show.
We've learned that there's some kind of signal chat that's actually enabling all of this to transpire. People are actually coordinating this on a massive level, which leads us to new questions about exactly who is paying for it all. I want to go to this state representative. Now, I don't know if it's specifically the Signal app I'm going to show you. Yeah, this thing. And they discovered just this massive operation. This was Cam Higbee who reported on this, and Elon Musk actually retweeted it. But let's go to Mr. Faulkner out in Minnesota, who's so proud to tell us he's a community organizer and knows how to do things like this.
You know, yesterday we had the young man, 13-year-old, handcuffed by ICE, his father taken away. I arrived there as soon as I could. I talked to some of the family members. It's devastating. And I don't know, just going home and talking to my kids about what happened and how this is affecting our community. These are terrible times, but we will get through it. We'll get stronger for it. And we will look out for one another.
Wait a minute. I had to hit pause. Count how many Somalis you can find in this picture. I'll make it very big so you can see all the salamis in this picture. There you go. Point them out. They're like Waldo. How many salamis can you find? Let me give you a guess. All of them. They're all salamis. What is going on here? Look. Salami, 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 another salami, 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 salami. There's all Somalian people here. This is all Somalians. Look at them. They're sitting on the floor. They're not even in chairs. They're sitting on the floor. It's a giveaway. This is a mosque. This is a mosque. This is a Somali mosque. These are all Somalis. Every single person in here. Oh my God. God help me. Jesus, when I go see you, I got a lot to tell you. I'm going to tell you something. I got over 1,000 videos. I'm pretty sure he has seen all of it. He already knows. He's just waiting for me to go up there so I can execute what I want for this planet. That's what he's waiting for. Because I tell you right now, this is fucking chaos. This is carnage. This right here is stupidity. All these young, dumb, full of cum individuals can go right back to their country. And look at this one with his cell phone. He's recording. You know, you gotta have one to record. That's how they get their views. That's how they get the attention, so the other salamis could watch. You know, and it's not only this one, because there's one back here. If you have an eagle eye, there's another one back here. This little cell phone he's covering with his hand, but he's recording there, trying to get all this. Probably this guy's recording because you can see his hand is like in a recording stance. This one, I don't know. He's probably regretting his life. This one doesn't want to be seen, so he's covering his face. Some of them don't want to be seen, but these are all salamis.
Coming to the state legislature, I'm a community organizer at heart, and that's part of what I'm trying to bring to the legislature. I'm helping to lead the community response, rapid response network that we have, given any ICE situations. I have a couple of cards here.
Why is it recording?
I'm willing to stop in to stay around and talk with anybody that wants any more information. We've got a couple groups on the app Signal that we would love for you to join. Whether or not you want to be part of the Resistance Network, I fully understand that you may not be comfortable with that, but you can help us in a lot of ways by sending an alert that if you see any suspicious vehicles, any traffic, if you know of anybody that is being targeted, that's being
what is going on here?
Resources immediately available that we can send to you, send to their family, get them legal help, help the families if they need food, if people are.
So what this is coming down to, though, is this peaceful protest or is this impediment?
It's impediment.
If you have people that are paid, don't forget, a lot of this is a paid operation, and there's concern about foreign influence. If you have people that are paid to be paid protesters, and then they're trying to create this organic movement and bring everybody else in, at what point do you say, okay, you know, we got state lawmakers doing this, state lawmakers that are actively encouraging the residents to come out and protest the federal government doing its job. Like, this is going a little too far. Like, it's completely out of control. It's one thing to say, we're not going to assist you, which they are entitled legally to say. It's a whole other thing to say, we are going to actively resist you. And our lawmakers are actively organizing people to resist you. That actually, I think, crosses the line to the point where you now are on the wrong side of the law. And so this is where DOJ can come in and do its investigation, because if you have lawmakers that are organizing these chats, and again, I'm showing you what was released over the weekend, a very coordinated operation where people were connecting with each other on Signal, and they're sending warnings, et cetera. Don't forget, the judges actually determined that those ICE apps that they were putting out there originally were not legal, because you were getting in the way of the federal government doing its job. Well, again, this is another example of getting in the way of the federal government doing its job. And so this therefore should also be illegal. If you've got people that are actually state lawmakers on there, that takes it up to a whole nother level, you understand. So that guy, Alex Falconer, Minnesota state rep, saying that he's an organizer, all of these people that are ginning this up, encouraging it. And it's not, I know, you know,
Hot chocolate.
I mean, it's not just the coffee and donuts that they're providing out there to everybody. It's
Why are
the
they giving
actual
them
scale
food?
of the infrastructure
They're
and
supposed
the
to be doing
payment
work. Why
in
are they
some
handing
cases
out
of these
food? They're not
protesters
waiters.
that takes it to a whole other
We
level.
have
Don't forget as well, I think it's important to remember that Minneapolis
waiters.
itself
Some
was
of
ground
them.
zero for the BLM movement.
Oh,
So you
this is
have
bullshit,
a
man.
group of people that are sort of primed for this in some ways. Scalise, Representative Scalise, Steve Scalise, was on CBS over the weekend, and the reporter, who seems to be getting less smart by the day,
Already, man. What are you waiting
seriously,
for?
is asking him, like, why is it so many people that have gone into Minneapolis? And he explains it to her. In other words, we didn't have this problem in Washington, D.C. We didn't have this problem in Tennessee. We didn't have this problem in other places like New Orleans. Actually, those communities
You
welcomed
do have
us
this
because they
problem in New York.
wanted to feel safer. They wanted to
New
make
York
sure that
has
the
that same
criminals were not
problem.
out
They're
roaming.
just
They
not getting the
actually
attention.
welcomed the presence of, in some
Minnesota's
cases, the National
distracted
Guard
from the
or
real problem,
DHS.
which
And
is New
Minneapolis
York
is a
and
whole
California.
other thing. Let's watch.
You don't see these numbers either, though. When we looked at, for example, at the federal response in New Orleans, I mean, it's just a fraction of the number of federal agents. Nearly 3,000 is quite a lot for a city the size of Minneapolis.
Well, that's because they didn't get resistance in cities like New Orleans, where, you know, when you look in Minneapolis, and I just listened to the chief, and you could hear him lamenting 4 times, I think he said, that they're strapped so thin. And let's keep in mind, Minneapolis is a city that defunded their police. That's not the chief's fault. That's the failed Democrat leader's fault. But at the same time, when they defund the police, that leaves the chief stretched thin. And so
He was talking
they've
about
made a
the federal
decision not
response.
to assist ICE.
He was.
Yeah. So it's kind of a reality of what you've got going on in Minneapolis. You've got a police department that cannot assist, that's been told actually to not assist, and even if they wanted to, they couldn't. Versus even Chicago. Remember Chicago, when all those protesters gathered around an ICE vehicle at one point, and the Chicago police chief just went, you know what, on them? And he said, don't you ever do that, because guess what? Those DHS folks have guns. And when they have guns, you're going to get yourself, 86th pretty fast. He came right out and said it. That was very interesting. I mean, they were not allowed to help because the mayor, Brendan Johnson, prohibited them from helping. But they were very clear, you're going to get yourself in a whole lot of trouble. And so for some reason, that's not being properly communicated in Minnesota. Why? Oh, because you got a political movement there that doesn't want them to find the real stuff. Oh, trust me, Keith Ellison does not want them finding out what he's allegedly been involved with. Ilhan Omar doesn't want them finding out what she's allegedly been involved with. And well, let's just face it, Tim Walz, it's the end of his political career. Trey Gowdy talking about the issue on Fox.
I think he has to get state and local law enforcement to stop working against federal law enforcement. And who better to do that than a lifelong cop? I mean, I think a lot of what you're seeing in Minneapolis, you would not be seeing if there were coordination between all of law enforcement. State cops have more intel. Federal cops have more resources. Almost everywhere they work together, but they're not in Minnesota. Hopefully, Tom can change that. I'm sure that's what the president thinks.
Yes. And Tom's got a really good way about him. A very direct, personal way about him. And so maybe he'll have a little bit more luck with these lawmakers, though don't kid yourself, right? Don't kid yourself in terms of what they're about, which is protecting their own damn hides. Because there's, as I said, some bad stuff that's going to come out, and it has to do with money.
It always has to do with money. That's all they think about. It's all about the money. That's all it's about. So it'll be. Let's check the story out.
Hey, it's live TV. This happens. I mean, these are some of the things that happen out here when there's so much breaking news going on all at once. We'll tell you that there was a large rally that happened now. It was about, 24 hours after the events of these raids that happened at these locations yesterday. That rally that happened here, all of those protesters, they firmly believe that what happened at these Zips bars was part of an ICE raid. Now, the actual agency that was involved in these raids yesterday was Homeland Security Investigations. They're part of the same umbrella of the federal government that involves ICE, but they were the lead agency here. And a lot of the patrons that were inside of the Zips when they were asked to leave yesterday, they said that the authorities inside told them that this was an identity fraud investigation. Either way, what exactly this was still being figured out here. There was a lot of energy here, anti-ICE, these protests. And the protesters here in front of the Zips, they then marched down to the ICE field office here, making sure that their voices were heard. It's been an interesting 24 hours in the Valley, especially in light of what's been going on in Minnesota. One of the people marching was Congresswoman Yasmin Ansari. This is her district here in Phoenix that she represents. And I asked her a litany of questions just about the raids that have happened in the last 24 hours, the federal response to all of this. One thing I did ask her, though, is if she is willing to have a government shutdown over this. And she is confidently saying, yes, she's willing to have that government shutdown. But she also says there's plenty of Republicans that back her up on that they're also willing to have a government shutdown over funding to ICE at this point. So there's a lot of things to figure out here, but I'll tell you this, Andy, the key thing, we still don't exactly know what happened yesterday. We don't know if there were any arrests. We don't know if they were arrested, what they're being charged with. And we don't even know what's really in these search warrants that were served yesterday that were signed off and approved for by a federal judge. So there's still a lot of questions here. These are basic questions 24 hours after a raid. Typically, we'd have more answers than this.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Steve. And so going forward now, I mean, is it open for business? Are people able to go in and out today?
Great question. No, all of the Zips are closed right now. We've reached out to the ownership groups involved in this. We haven't heard back from any of them, but as of this moment right now, all of the Zips and also one Goldie's location, these very well-known sports bars in the Valley are all closed.
Wow.
Before Super Bowl, that is big there for
That's
that,
crazy.
company, no doubt about it. Steve, thanks so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox, working through the audio issue. We appreciate it as always. Always the professional. We appreciate it here on Live Now. All right, everyone, we'll take a 2-minute break. Stay right here with us. Always more to come on Live Now from Fox.
Well, they go on their break. I'm not, but holy shit, they must have had a lot of illegals working. That's what I'm thinking. And since they had already a sting operation, I'm pretty sure they already had inside knowledge and probably video, evidence. That's why they closed the restaurants down. Them owners did it themselves, and I didn't see no protest. Where's the protest? Where's the protect the immigrants or ICE baby out? I don't know. I don't know their cheer now. They changed it like I don't know how they wipe their ass. Every single time they wipe their ass, they're changing it to a new phrase. So, just crazy. Living crazy times. We're living in the upside down. You're living in the upside down. All right, let's keep it moving.
Well, guess who's back? Yes, former President Joe Biden is adding his 2 cents about Minnesota. In a post on X, he accused the Trump administration of targeting American citizens. This person can destroy what America stands for and believes in, not even a president, if we, all of America, stand up and speak out. So that comes as President Trump reshuffles his deck. In
Biden, where
Minneapolis,
did you
Greg
write that
Bovino is
from?
out.
Which
Tom
beach you
Homan
wrote
is
that
in,
from?
meeting
But
with
we know you
Governor Tim
didn't write
Walz
that,
and Mayor
Biden.
Jacob Fry. President Trump
You
also
know you
voicing
did
his
not
support
write
for
that,
DHS
Biden.
Secretary
Come
Kristi Noem,
on,
telling
man.
reporters she will not be stepping down from her role. And
Come
here's Trump
on.
talking to Will Kane about everything that's going
You
on
make me
in
believe that shit.
We're going to de-escalate a little bit. We have Tom Homan there now. We put him in there. He's great. I don't think it's a pullback. It's a little bit of a change. Everybody in this room that has a business, you know, you make little changes. You know, Bovino is very good, but
Gonna
he's
get more
a
aggressive.
pretty out there kind of a guy. And in some
He's gonna
cases,
get more
that's good.
aggressive.
Maybe it
Homan's
wasn't
not
good.
gonna let it up.
Tom, I've noticed, as tough as he is, he gets along very good with governors and mayors. Now, I spoke to the mayor and to the governor yesterday, and they want to see it cleared up. Couldn't have been a nicer conversation. And in fact, I said to my people, I said, it's hard to believe that's the same guy I watch on television or I watch in the debate not doing so well, or because we had a very reasonable conversation, very good conversation.
So as you can see, President Trump trying to bring down the temperature, but will these Democrats listen?
This ICE should be crushed. Noem, gone. Homan, gone. Miller, gone. Masks off. Identification out. And law-abiding people no longer terrorized.
I was the person locking and unlocking doors at a mercado in order to make sure that ICE wasn't entering the facilities.
Well, there's no way in hell that Senate Democrats can support this administration's agenda. Senate Democrats should not lift one finger to help advance the Trump agenda.
One of the tells about the conversation having gone well last night, Jesse, is that after President Trump talked to Walz and Fry, suddenly, as if by magic, the police, local police, were there helping and arresting violent agitators.
Yeah, I liked how Trump was like, man, Walz doesn't seem like such a doofus. The guy we watched melt down with Vance. So there was a deal, and we had Bovino and the Border Patrol boys in town to give ICE backup, to do crowd control, because the locals wouldn't help them since it's a sanctuary city. And so the deal is, after the mayhem on Saturday, we're going to send Bovino and Border Patrol back to the desert where they're trained to be, not doing crowd control in urban environments. If you guys cooperate and coordinate with ICE, give us the intel and hand over the bad hombres that have been charged criminally. And Walz said he would, but there's two problems. Walz's base is pissed because Walz's base is like, wait a second, we're going to be working with ICE, the Nazis, the Gestapo. You had a phone call with the dictator, and the deal is that ICE stays and gets the criminals out. They don't even want the criminals out. They want everyone to stay, no matter if you've raped, murdered, or pillaged. Now, Trump's base is also happy that he finessed the drama, but if we're just targeting people with criminal records, that's fine, but that's not enough. We want everybody that came into this country deported. Are we saying now that we're just going to wait for illegals to commit crimes? Like, there was a guy the other day, threw a rock at a school bus, killed a girl, 8 years old. You're saying that if ICE had seen him the day before he threw the rock, we would have just let him stay? Why are we waiting around for people to commit crimes? I'm not saying you don't prioritize the bad hombres, but if you get swept up, you got to go. And when you send them home, it brings rent down, it brings prices down, it brings insurance down, and it brings wages up. So I hope the president maintains his resolve from what he promised the voters. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling
See what else
analysis.
we got here? We're almost let's see how many more videos. About I'll go 6 more. Yeah, got a lot to watch.
Warning from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration about potentially deadly replacement airbags showing up in used cars all across the country.
Yeah, federal officials say that 8 drivers are dead, crashes that likely would have survived.
Sasha Jones is on your side with what
Lord,
the
are you
NHTSA
kidding me?
administrator says every used car owner needs to check right now.
This warning isn't just for used car shoppers. It's for anyone driving a used vehicle, especially one that's been in a crash before. Federal investigators say 8 drivers have been killed and 2 others seriously injured, not by the crash itself, but by the airbag meant to save them.
So what's happening, though, is that these are substandard inflators, and when they're in a crash, even a minor crash, they're deploying and overpressuring and shooting shrapnel to the face and chest of consumers or of the drivers.
The Chinese manufacturer linked to these airbags, known as D&T, even says on its own website its products are not allowed to be sold in the United States. Yet investigators say these airbags are ending up in American cars, most often after a previous crash, when the original airbag gets replaced with a cheap illegal part.
Somehow these inflators are being imported into the United States, and they're being attached to airbag modules, which are being sold, we think, through online marketplaces.
So far, all known deaths involved Chevy Malibus and Hyundai Sonatas, most with salvage or rebuilt titles. But officials warn this may not be linked to those vehicles. And here's what makes this so dangerous. Drivers often have no idea what airbag is inside their car until it's too late.
There's nothing worse than a piece of equipment that's designed to save your life in serious crashes, deploying and potentially killing you in minor crashes that you should walk away from.
NHTSA says if your used car was ever in a crash where airbags deployed, especially if it has a salvage or rebuilt title, get it checked now. If a D&T airbag is found, do not drive the car until the airbag is replaced with one that meets U.S. safety standards. You can report suspected illegal airbags to NHTSA, and the agency urges buyers to get a vehicle history report before purchasing any used car. You can do that through Carfax.
NBC Responds reached out to the Chinese company for comment, and we haven't heard back. This is one of the most urgent vehicle safety warnings we've seen in years, and it could affect families who think that they're driving a perfectly safe car. If you're buying a used car, experts say never skip the safety check. Sasha Jones, NBC6 News.
Yeah, it makes sense. You got to go through the safety checks, especially the airbags. The airbags is the most important.
The Dauphin County District Attorney's Office charging dozens of people with scheming to misuse SNAP benefits to the tune of $80,000. This is an operation that started in 2023. It involves a Steelton store called Quick Stop Convenience. Here to talk more about it right now, our digital content producer, Grace Miller. You talked to the DA about this as well. So how are they pulling this thing off, according to the DA?
That's right. So this convenience store, actually, it kind of breaks down into 2 different levels, right? So at the time that this all was found to have happened, the convenience store was actually not even licensed to be giving out or, to be accepting SNAP
there's
transactions.
phase 1. Right.
So there's that. They are accused, that owner, of somehow illegally obtaining point of service systems from actually giant food store locations across the state, using those point of sale systems, having people come in, they would swipe their EBT cards, punch in their PIN, but they found that they were actually exchanging those benefits not for the food items, which like they're supposed to be, but instead for cash, which is illegal.
Did they know what was happening, the people that were doing it?
It seemed.
So they were in on it together.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
So part of the investigation, according to the documents and DA Franchardo, who I spoke with today, is that they had state troopers undercover going in, kind of doing these transactions themselves. They said that they observed a lot of patrons walk in. They can access the database, see that said person paid $500 for something in there, but they're coming out with nothing.
Okay, yeah.
So that kind of ticks them.
How many people are we talking about here who are in trouble?
Yeah, so according to the documents, again, it cited that around 70 customers were supposedly involved in this. And, I think they said that it was around $80,000.
When you put it all together. This is going on for a while. I mean, they didn't catch it right away,
2023.
right?
Yes, exactly. So they started investigating in 2023, but the documents say that it actually had started in 2022. So we knew about the charges against that store owner and their employees back in December. But what the DA says is new today is that there are still charges being filed against the people who did go in, punch in their EBT card numbers for cash.
Still finding this. So what's happening now as far as like preventing fraud like this? Because that's a big concern with people with EBT cards or with SNAP benefits is the misuse of taxpayer money.
Yeah, of course. And, part of what Chardo said is it's hard because the victims in this case are kind of like everybody who gets those benefits, right? Because it puts a bad name to SNAP recipients when in reality, the majority of these people are using them how they're supposed to be used. But certainly he said there's been many more charges in the works that will be filed. Just coming through court documents today, we know that it's 50 plus people who have been charged at least today and yesterday.
Damn.
Fraud's such a big, topic right now
Umbrella,
across
yeah.
the country. So whenever this comes up, it's very interesting. Is
Yeah.
there anything else you're looking at with this? Any questions you still have to be answered that you're thinking about?
I think it's interesting, how they've said that they can track the scanning of the cards to find out, where those transactions happen and try to verify that it was fraudulent, right?
They
So
know.
of course that's an advantage in that way, but you also wonder if having a digital card might open you up to some kind of other avenues of.
Okay.
of
We'll keep an eye on that too.
Interesting
All right.
information.
Miller, thanks so much.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
They listen. They know when you go to pay, like even your credit cards. They know if you're making a purchase, so it pinpoints your location and everything. And they cross-check with your phone because you have your phone with you, right? Your phone is linked with that card, and you have the Wi-Fi, and it goes through, and they know you're at that location and you are making that purchase. That's the confirmation, and the future is going to be really wild when it comes to like two-way verification. Like you're gonna have to have two ways, or you have to have two forms of verification to get into any device. And it's just what they truly want to do is they want to get your fingerprint and they want to get your face. You know what I mean? And a lot of people like to do the numbers and so forth. But I truly believe in the future they want to use your face as to unlock your phone, and that way that's kind of like checking in. Once you do that, you're checked into the world of the phone, the internet, the world device. And it's kind of like a roll call because everyone has a phone, everyone needs a phone. So that's going to be how they're going to know who's who in this country. Like it's going to be like Minority Report. I'm telling you, it's 2030 is creepy, and it's coming so fucking fast. 4 years, and we're there. Am I ready for it? I am terrified. It's getting scary because it's getting real. That's the fear. The only fear is that it's getting real, and it's not good times, to be honest with you. But we're let's watch this one. So that one.
Well, deadly accident halted service on a northwest suburban metro line this morning after a train hit a small snowplow.
That snowplow operator was rushed to the hospital where he died. WGN Sean Lewis is in Bartlett with his story.
That Metro train was headed towards Elgin, moving relatively slowly at the Bartlett station when this collision happened at Oak Avenue. The village of Bartlett is now mourning the loss of their 64-year-old public works employee.
Oh my God.
That gives us the view from overhead the Bartlett Metro station shortly after this crash. That small Ventrac tractor used for snow removal and salt spreading was wedged onto the front of the Metro train, half on, half off the platform after being dragged several feet. The man operating it, 64 years old, a village employee, rushed to St. Alexius Hospital in critical condition and later pronounced dead.
Oh my God.
Thad Tobalt says he was on a different Milwaukee West train when it came to a stop.
I was on the train for 40 minutes.
The collision happened about 8:30 this morning during the morning rush.
A lot of people have probably witnessed it sitting at the crossing, and I heard the whistle. And then I'm looking just aside of the station. Here comes a train with a plow in front of it. I thought, they don't have plows on those trains. The engine stopped.
Metro Police, Bartlett Police, and fire and other village workers responded to the scene. For much of the morning and early afternoon, service was suspended for the final 4 stops of the Metro Milwaukee West trains as the investigation into this tragic collision was underway. More than 3 hours after the crash, crews finally were able to haul away that small tractor while the front of the engine was inspected and cleaned.
Pretty darn sad for this to happen.
Those who live here are understandably shaken.
Terrible. I mean, these guys are out here in the cold and everything, trying to make everything safe for people to walk, and to have something like this happen is tragic. The town is devastated.
Metro Police is leading the investigation.
Why did he
OSHA
not
is
stop
also
for the
conducting
train?
its own investigation.
Was
The
he not
Metro
paying
Milwaukee
attention?
District West line was back up and running fully by about 2 o'clock this afternoon. In Bartlett tonight, Sean Lewis, WGN News.
Was he not like paying attention? Like I'm so confused. How did the train hit this plow? Well, we know who did wrong here, and it's not the train. Okay, the train is stuck on the line. It just moves forward. Now the person I don't know if got stuck on the track or what, but he's not here with us anymore, and that sucks. So let's go ahead. We're gonna watch a back-to-back of Tyson De La Cruz. Let's go for it.
Report highlights some examples of where the funds were not used in the way that the donors likely would have wanted them to be used.
America, 1 year ago, the deadliest wildfires in California history killed over 400 people and destroyed 13,000 homes. Celebrities organized a massive benefit concert called Fire Aid that raised $100 million with a very specific promise.
During the concert, the impression that many people got was that the funding was going to go directly to the victims, and that was not the case.
$100,000 went to podcasters who just talked about the fires. $650,000 went to voter registration and political advocacy groups. $500,000 went to pay staff salaries at nonprofits, and the money was specifically prioritized for illegal immigrants, while American homeowners are still waiting for help.
I don't know how all these so-called leaders and people that are supposed to serve and protect honestly go to bed at night thinking that they're good humans, because we were definitely left to burn.
And 1 year later, only nine homes have been rebuilt out of 13,000 destroyed.
9. That's crazy.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Let's start with the lie that started this whole scam. During the Fire Aid concert, actor Miles Teller stood on stage in front of millions and millions of viewers and made a very specific promise about where the money would go. All the money raised would go directly to the people who need it now, not some of the money, not most
I'm gonna try to get
of
him
the
on
money.
here.
All of the money would go directly to wildfire victims. That's what they told you to get you to open up your wallet.
Two issues are, number one, that the funds didn't go directly to victims when a lot of people thought that's what would happen. And then number two, maybe there were some of the nonprofits who got the grants that were not engaged in the sort of activities that the concert was intended to be.
So they made a promise they knew they couldn't keep to raise $100 million from generous Americans who wanted to help people who lost everything. That, my friends, is called fraud. That's obtaining money under false pretenses. And it gets worse. Fire Aid also promised that the funds would not be used for administrative purposes, but internal documents show that the money was funneled to third-party groups who used it for, you guessed it, staff salaries, benefits for attorneys, and even stipends to recognize extraordinary contributions.
The attack in this report is that money was spent for salaries. Well, if you're going to be a legal aid center, you're going to have to hire attorneys.
Not only did they break their promise about direct payments to the victims, they also broke their promise about no administrative costs. Every single major promise they made to donors was an absolute lie. Now, let me break down exactly where the Fire Aid donations actually went, because this is obviously going to piss you off a little bit. Instead of rebuilding 13,000 homes that were destroyed in the California fires, your money went to the most absurd pet projects that you can absolutely imagine. First up, $100,000 went to Altadena Talks Foundation, specifically to support Tony Raines' podcast. Tony Raines is a tech system administrator who happened to talk about the California wildfires on her show. So she applied for a Fire Aid grant and got $100,000 just for talking about the fires on her podcast. What? Think about what $100,000 could do to an actual wildfire victim. That's maybe a potential down payment on a home. That's replacing their lost possessions. That's covering living expenses while they're rebuilding their home. Instead, it went to fund a podcaster. We didn't apply for fire aid funds because we assumed that the money was supposed to go directly to wildfire victims, not to podcasters. Silly for him for thinking that wildfire relief money should go to wildfire victims. Next up, over $650,000 went to groups focused on political power.
Like you had one organization whose main mission seemed to be about voting rights, which, you know, might be a laudable mission, but what does it have to do with fire relief?
How does voter registration help somebody whose house was burned in a wildfire? How does building political power put a roof over somebody's head? It doesn't do any of that. This is political organizing disguised as wildfire relief. And then these nonprofits, 6 organizations allocated fire aid grant towards labor, salaries, and quote unquote related costs. So get this, your donation to help wildfire victims went to pay somebody's salary on a nonprofit.
The attack in this report is that money was spent for salaries. Well, if you're going to be a legal aid center, you're going to have to hire attorneys.
Democrats are going to defend this till their face is blue. Well, you're going to run a legal aid center. You need to hire attorneys. But that's not what donors were told. They were told the money was going to go directly to the victims, not to pay off nonprofit staff salaries. But here's the part that should make you furious. According to an internal document, Fire Aid prioritized and awarded grants to organizations that serve, get this, illegal immigrants. While American citizens who lost their home were waiting for help, Fire Aid was making sure that the undocumented immigrants got priority access over relief funds. What the heck is going on here? A group called CORE, Community Organized Relief Efforts, received $250,000 from Fire Aid. Their mission is to empower communities in and beyond crisis and build more equitable world in which underserved communities are prepared. Notice all that jargon and language. Equitable world and underserved communities. That, my friends, is code for prioritizing illegal immigrants and other identifying groups over actual American citizens who lost their homes in the fire.
I don't know how all these so-called leaders and people that are supposed to serve and protect honestly go to bed at night thinking that they're good humans, because we were definitely left to burn.
This, my friends, is America Last policies absolutely in action. This is exactly what we've been talking about. Democrats prioritizing illegal immigrants over American citizens, even when it comes to disaster relief.
Thousands of rebuilding permits have been filed, but 1 year after the Eaton and Palisades fires, just 9 homes have been rebuilt.
Out of 13,000 homes destroyed, only 9 have been rebuilt. 9 homes after a year, after $100 million raised at Fire Aid, after all the promises from the politicians, the celebrities, only 9 have been able to rebuild their homes.
There has been a lot of unrealistic timelines that were given to, you know, the community, the world, that, oh, it's going to be back. We're going to be back in 1 and 2 years. That is not the case. When you drive through the Palisades, it is still like a war zone.
Block after block, vacant, burned down foundations, nature turning over like we're in The Walking Dead. This is what communities look like 1 year later, while Fire Aid money went to podcasters, illegal immigrants, and voter registration drives.
Probably the majority, 75% of my friends were dealing with insurance. You know, in the Palisades, so many people have been canceled.
And the insurance situation is an absolute nightmare. Many people had their fire insurance canceled just days before the blaze happened. Others are fighting with adjusters over particular coverage. Some are discovering they were underinsured after paying premiums for 30 years. Now, we've been following this California disaster for months, and I want to give a huge shout out to a subscriber, Kinsley777, for her comments about California and what's going on in California, and then also re-sparking or reigniting the conversation about this Fire Aid topic. Pardon the pun there. Shout out to you. Really appreciate you.
One neighborhood after the other, street after street after street, nearly the entire community of Pacific Palisades has been destroyed.
The wildfire victims aren't staying silent about their particular betrayal. They're furious, and obviously they're demanding answers about where the relief money actually went.
The concerts were, by all measure, a tremendous success. Dozens of the country's top stars performing. Viewers donated. Ever since the shows, though, a small group of Republicans has claimed the money did not go where it was promised. But event organizers say the criticism is all a cheap political stunt.
Fire aid organizers are calling the congressional investigation a cheap political stunt. They released their own audit claiming that 100 nonprofits got all the money that they were promised. But that's not the issue. The issue is that those nonprofits weren't supposed to get the money in the first place. The victims were.
I feel like I'm doing the very best I can to report on what's happening in Pacific Palisades, to give voice to the concerns of the community.
One journalist who lives in the Palisades and lost his home said he's trying to give voice to the concerns of the community while also helping his own family return to their home. That's where we're at in California, in America. Victims of disasters have become journalists just to get the truth out.
We didn't only lose home. We lost community. We lost neighbors. We lost school. We lost sport. We lost grocery shopping. It feels like you start from bottom after January 7th.
Listen to what this victim said. It feels like we're starting from the bottom after January 7th. They lost everything, starting from the bottom. Fire aid money went to podcasters, voter registration, staff salaries. That's the real betrayal here.
The Pacific Palisades Community Council had to write a letter to the organization several months after the disaster saying, we're not really seeing any impact here. What's going on with the money?
The actual community that was supposed to benefit from the concert had to beg for information about where the money went. But the fire aid fraud is just one part of a much larger failure. The California government response to these fires have been an absolute disaster from the beginning.
An alarming investigation by the LA Times exposes a litany of deletions and revisions in the LA Fire Department's report on the city's response to the deadly fires.
They tried to whitewash the fact that they failed to pre-deploy firefighters to the area, and they knew it would be problematic.
Alleged arsonist set the fire that became known as the Lockman Fire, and that burned several acres up there on a clear and calm day when firefighters could control the fire. They put that fire out and then returned the following day for what they call mop-up operations.
Here's what really happened. On New Year's Eve, an alleged arsonist set a fire called the Lynchman Fire. Firefighters put it out on a clear and calm day when they obviously could control it, but they failed to stop the fire from the smoldering roots of the plants on the mountainside.
When the extreme wind event arrived 6 days later, it reignited the Lockman Fire, and the first homes started going up perhaps about 90 minutes after the fire started. And by nightfall on January 7th, all of Palisades was burning.
The entire disaster could have been prevented if firefighters have done their job properly to mop up the operations at the beginning of the year.
There was no running water anywhere. There was no water in the fire hydrants. I happened to have some Diet Coke in the back of my car. So we took Diet Coke and we doused the fire on someone's fence with Diet Coke.
And when the fire first hit, there was no water in the fire hydrants. The 117 million gallon reservoir above the Pacific Palisades had been empty for maintenance for most of the year. America, this is what happens when you trust celebrities and politicians to help disaster victims. They raise $100 million by promising it would go directly to people who lost everything. Instead, it went to podcasters, voter registration drives, staff salaries, and organizations that prioritize illegal immigrants over American citizens. 1 year later, only 9 homes have been rebuilt out of 13,000 destroyed. Over 400 people are dead. Families are still living in hotels, still fighting with insurance companies, and still waiting for help that they were promised. The LA Fire Department covered up their failures. The reservoir was empty when the fires hit. Firefighters failed to properly extinguish the fire that was reignited and destroyed entire communities, and fire aid took your donations and gave them to everyone except for the victims. The ongoing investigation regarding fire aid still has $25 million left to disperse. Every single dollar should go directly to wildfire victims this time, not podcasters, not politician groups, not nonprofit salaries. victims. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Upload. We got another one coming up, so back to backer on this one. So let's go straight to it. Tyson De La Cruz.
He's accused of living the high life to the tune of $23 million instead of using public and taxpayer funds to help the homeless.
America, how does a man hired to feed homeless end up buying a $7 million mansion in Westwood? We're talking about $23 million stolen in taxpayer funds, gone in a single scheme, while the state of California admits that they lost track of billions.
People are literally dying. And this guy is out vacationing, buying homes, buying Range Rovers, and going shopping.
Federal agents finally put the cuffs on Alexander Sohoffers. This charity was supposed to house and feed 600 homeless people across southern Los Angeles. Instead, Alex was serving them canned beans and breakfast bars while he pocketed $10 million for himself.
There are people out there that will take advantage, and that's always been our suspicion, is that there's been very little oversight.
We've been following California's homeless crisis for a while, and the pattern obviously is super crystal clear. Billions go in, tents stay on the street, and people run these quote-unquote charities and get rich. What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Let me break down exactly how Alexander Sohofer pulled off this $23 million scam right under the noses of Los Angeles city officials who were supposedly monitoring these contracts.
According to the complaint, Sofer, through his charity, received millions in tax money from the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, that he lied about payments to third-party vendors for housing services, diverting the funds to his personal bank account.
Between 2018 and 2025, Alex received more than $23 million in homeless housing funding. Of that, $5 million came directly from LAHSA, and more than $17 million came through a downtown LA-based nonprofit called Special Service for Groups, Inc. Alex had contracts to provide 3 healthy meals a day that were supposed to be healthy, balanced, and meet participants' quote-unquote nutritional needs. Instead, investigators found his sites were serving ramen noodles. Homie was serving ramen noodles, canned beans, and breakfast bars.
This is what he was providing. Ramen noodles and a microwave. He probably spent $100 you see in that picture, and he pocketed the rest of the money.
While homeless people were eating ramen noodles, Alex was living like a king. Here's where your tax money actually went. $7 million for a Westwood mansion, millions more for upgrades for that particular mansion, $125,000 for a Range Rover, private school tuition for his children, private jet travel across the country, luxury resort stays from Hawaii to Florida, $475,000 for a vacation property in Greece. But Alex just didn't steal money. He created an elaborate cover to hide what he was actually doing. And this is where the fraud gets really sophisticated.
He lied to investigators when confronted. He provided fake invoices to make it appear that the payments to third vendors were legitimate. They were not.
Alex created fake invoices at times, stealing the names, addresses, and logos of real companies to make it appear that vendor and rent payments were actually legitimate. He made it look like he was paying third-party landlords at market rate when he was actually paying himself above market rate.
He provided a whole raft of fraudulent documentation trying to legitimize the fraud that he had been conducting.
When an LAHSA investigator asked Alex if his charity board knew how he was spending the money, he said they did. But the investigator later learned that the board was completely fake. Some of the people didn't even exist, and others never even heard about abundant blessings or Mr. Alex. This wasn't sloppy toppy time on the street corner. This wasn't sloppy bookkeeping. This was organized crime disguised as charity work. And while Alex was creating fake boards and fabricating invoices, the homeless people he was supposed to be helping were absolutely getting nothing. No proper shelter, no healthy meals, just ramen noodles, canned beans, breakfast bars, while he flew on private jets. Now let's talk about Special Service for Groups, the massive NGO that funneled $17 million to Alex Sofer.
We need to have a real conversation around how homeless dollars are spent, the accountability of service providers.
Sofer, the defendant, this afternoon was arraigned in federal court in Orange County. Only after federal prosecution would he then stand trial for separate state charges.
SSG is what we're going to call it. SSG's revenue hit $223 million in 2024. This is a massive organization with hundreds of employees and supposedly sophisticated financial control. Yet they could not spot a $23 million swindle happening right under their nose.
California is spending more on the homeless crisis each year, and the number on the street continues to climb. Last year's homeless number over 181,000.
This is the business model. The state sends billions and billions of dollars to NGOs. The NGOs send consulting fees to friends, families, and the tents stay on the street so they can ask for more money next year. This is a perpetual money machine where the only people who don't get benefits are the homeless people and the taxpayers. And here's what should terrify you. SSG received over $100 million in taxpayer funds despite failing to comply with federal audit mandates for years. They were supposed to submit annual audits to show how they spent federal money, but obviously they didn't, and the money just kept flowing anyways.
The Weingart Center has been awarded over $100 million in taxpayer funds despite years of failing to comply with federal audit mandates.
The entire system is corrupt, and in April 2025, the LA County Board of Supervisors finally admitted it by literally defunding LAHSA and stripping them of $300 million because they couldn't account for where the money's going.
When proven solutions lose funding, homelessness doesn't stay flat. It may rise.
That warning from LAHSA's interim CEO as the agency faces $300 million in budget cuts after an audit revealed a lack of transparency in their spending.
That is $2.3 billion. Just poof.
California has spent billions of dollars on homelessness programs over the past 5 years, but a new report finds the state failed to properly monitor all that spending on all those programs.
The state audit found that nobody was tracking to see if any of the billions in homeless funding was actually reducing homelessness. The state couldn't measure the effectiveness of the programs, couldn't track where the dollars were going.
Not only did the audit struggle to measure the effectiveness of the programs that we're spending money on, in most cases, we don't have enough information to even measure the outcomes of the programs.
So California spent $24 billion on homelessness over 5 years, and nobody knows if it helped a damn person. But we do know it helped people like Alex and Alex buy a $7 million mansion. And the Alex case isn't even the most brazen fraud that we've seen. Remember the Lincoln Safe Sleep Village? A judge called it obvious fraud in November 2025 because the city was paying for 88 beds, but only 40 existed. 2.3 million gone. Federal prosecutors announced charges against 2 LA real estate developers. We covered that story a while ago, accused of fraud and misuse of public homelessness funds. One developer allegedly made a $2.2 million payment to his personal credit card using Project HomeKey money.
But we are going to follow the money. We're going to follow every dollar, and we want to make sure the money went to its intended objective, which is to assist the homeless. And if any of it was diverted for personal use or other use that wasn't authorized, we intend to criminally prosecute those individuals.
U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley said we are tracking the billions of dollars in public money that is intended to address homelessness. Too often, this money has been quote unquote wasted, quote unquote mismanaged, or outright stolen. The Trump administration isn't waiting for California to fix itself. With the funding freeze hitting February 1st, the feds are auditing every single dime that has been sent to California for homelessness services. And the victims of these scams are relieved that somebody is finally holding criminals accountable. One woman whose business information was stolen for fake invoices said, "You made my day." The Trump administration created a homelessness, fraud, and corruption joint task force specifically to investigate where all the money went. And obviously they're finding fraud everywhere they look.
And frankly, we were starting from the bottom up, and we began brand new investigations with the IRS and the FBI, and it's already culminated in 2 separate indictments, and I can assure you that more will come.
America Alexander Sofers stole $23 million meant for homeless people and bought a $7 million mansion while serving victims ramen noodles. But he's just one criminal in a system designed to enable fraud. California spent $24 billion on homelessness and can't account for where $2 $2.3 billion went. LAHSA was defunded and lost $300 million because they couldn't track the spending. The Lincoln Safe Street Village was an obvious fraud with $2.3 million stolen. And massive NGOs like SSG funnel hundreds of millions of dollars with zero oversight. The Trump administration is finally bringing accountability to this corrupt system, the homeless industrial complex. The funding freeze starts February 1st, and the federal prosecutors are tracking where every dollar went. Alex is facing 20 years in federal prison, and prosecutors promise more arrests are coming. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, Tyson. Great upload. It gets me mad. $23 million for fucking luxury trips. Damn, I wish. like Omar, like freaking $30 million in less than 2 years. Like, I wish. Anyhow, let's go to the last video of the night. And this one, I reserved it for Melody King. I'm really loving her channel, and we're going to watch it at the end. So, here we go. The last video of the night. Get the volume.
Because I am fresh from the gym and it is a hot mess over here, but not here to see me. I want to show you some of the signs and wonders that people are seeing in the sky regarding the sun. Now, I just did the moon, but we know, well, in several scriptures, but in Luke 21 specifically, Jesus tells us to look for the signs of his return in the sun, moon, and the stars. So, and to also keep our heads looking up. If you notice, they put phones in our hands, so we're always looking down. There is a reason for everything. It is usually multi-layered. The psyops go so far, so wide, so deep. We have talked about some of them, but let me play these for you.
This woman freaks out after she records 2 suns in the sky at once. Look.
Yo, now you can fucking see it!
I don't think that's a glare.
I've seen it before when I devices.
It's a sun right there, bitch. And a sun right here.
If it was a glare,
the moon is on the other fucking side.
As she moves the phone.
What the
Stay weird.
And just so you guys know, sorry about all the cussing. Like, it is what it is. We grown. But listen, as far as a glare, if it's on your camera or something, it moves with it. I've gotten glares before. I've seen these. People are not dumb. We know what we're seeing. We know what we're talking about. They are not glares. Glares don't do that. They don't look like that. All right. So I just want to put that out there.
That's there. That's there. And that's not the sun. That can't be the sun because the sunset is over there.
That's a planet.
The sunset is over there.
Mommy, that's a planet.
And the moon is up here.
So that must be a planet.
The moon is above us. That's there. That's there.
Now, some will say it's a planet Nibiru. There are, guys, we've shown there are no planets, okay? God did not make multiple planets. This is in the Bible. I'm sorry if this is new news to you, but God is very specific on what he created. And to believe anything else is to believe evolution. People have looked at these things. I'm getting my camera so we can look at things. But these planets, when people if you're not using one of the, NASA's telescope or some scientists and these CGI images, all of these are CGI images. The picture of the Earth, that is a CGI image. I've actually played some of that before. But when you see them, what they're calling planets, they move and look like stars, which looks like light moving in water, because we do know we live under a firmament. As the Bible says, the Bible also says that the earth is fixed and immovable, and that there are pillars under it. Now it is held up by him and nothing else, but it cannot be moved. It cannot be moved. Not a space agency. This is what everyone believed prior to 1952. Even if you talk to some old people, they were taught that we lived under a firmament. They were not taught any of this stuff. And it's not because we have better technology now, guys. That is not the truth. Every civilization has shown a biblical earth and how it is shaped. You have to understand. If that like is jarring and that seems tenfold, well, then the Bible is tenfold. The Bible is false. And you are saying the Bible is false doctrine. You are saying the Bible is not true. But NASA, not a space agency, they are correct. I don't know. There's no middle ground. And I don't want to get in arguments with people. I don't want to say that. And then when you see these things and like people will say, oh, well, the sun or the moon looks pink, or like the sun, they'll say the sun looks bright pink because there's wildfires and smoke, even in the atmosphere, causes the sun that's supposed to be hundreds of thousands of light years away or miles away, causes it to just have a pink hue. There's no wildfire going on in Florida. That's what it looks like. And I can show you things from all around the world. So I have to dispel some of these things because the brain always looks for certainty. And we've been taught to doubt everything, especially doubt the word of God, especially doubt signs and wonders from God. That is part of what they want. That is also part of what Project Bluebeam is about. So that not only it's so that you don't believe anything you see. You say, it's the government. It's the government. It couldn't be Jesus Christ. Couldn't be God. Couldn't be what he said in his word. Do you see how far it is? And if you're not plugged in and in your word and asking God for discernment and truth, you will just be blown by the wind because that's the goal. That's what they wanted. All of us confused, but people are seeing these things for themselves. I have seen craziness that I've told you about, but let's continue. Now, this part doesn't have music, but I wanted to show you. Look. That's a lens flare just sitting right there. No, you see the flare moving on the screen? Okay, that is a flare. So these are 7 suns. I had to turn off. There was some music. But look, funny enough, there are 7 heavens. Some people say, is it the sun? Sorry. Is it the sun reflecting through the different firmaments of the heavens? We don't know, but I have seen that from multiple places.
Bro, look. Like, this is my hand, bro. Look. 3 of them bitches, bro. Look. 2025, November 30th, Sunday. 3 fucking suns.
Please tell me you guys saw this the other night. So there's a guy on this app who goes outside at nighttime around 2, 3, 4 a.m. and he takes videos and pictures of the moon to see what's going on in the skies while everyone is asleep. And this time what he caught was a cross that is going through the moon. And yes, it looks like clouds and the moon is illuminating the cross specifically, but you can't tell me that this is not a sign in the sun and the moon and in the stars. The sign of the cross. What is the sign of the cross? It's the sign of the Son of Man. All shapes, out of all symbols, out of all things that could have been plastered in the sky, it's the sign of the Son of Man. It's the sign of Jesus. A cross through the moon. Guess what? Those who were asleep and who were not watching did not get to see this sign. And if it wasn't for this man who went back and recorded and posted the sign, then all of us who were asleep would have never saw this. Now, don't let that go over your head. Do not let that go over your head. Think about it. The sign came while we were asleep. If he had not posted it, we would have not seen it because we were asleep.
Wonder if that thing is still sitting above our sun. Okay, there's a sun. Wow, what the fuck? There's a lens flare, that thing moving around, but that dot right there.
She had me
what
laughing.
What the fuck is that?
What
lens flare. There's 2 suns, bitches!
She got some sun in there.
All right, folks, take a look at this video, recently captured out of Florida here.
Looks like some more strange activity from our increasingly strange sun, or whatever it is in the sky these days. Let me know what you think and question everything.
Oh my god.
It's funny. Like, I could chill with her.
Okay, so
Oh Lord.
that half moon thingy right there. I thought it was just a light, but it's not moving, which means it's stationary.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
I want you to know. Don't question it. It's like the Truman Show. You know what I mean? But they control you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Every day
It's
you're under
changing
control.
position, whatever it is.
The internet has you
It's
prisoner.
changing shape now. What is it? It's not moving with the camera, so it's not a light thing. Look at that.
People think that they're in control and there's no control.
It looks like a planet with like an eclipse going on or something. What did I just watch? What did I just watch? Like, I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but what the hell is that? Like, it's not in the camera lens. Look, it's not moving. It's just
Because he's not into it. Hello. You're recording. The conspiracy theory starts.
I don't know what that could be. Honestly, with everything going on nowadays, if someone told me a new planet's here and there's aliens coming off of it and la-di-da, I'd be like, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Honestly, nothing phases
They're
me
gonna eat you.
anymore. What is it?
Be on
What
the
is
table. You're the dinner.
Didn't believe it.
I want you to notice what she said. If they said that aliens came down, or if there was another planet and aliens come down, that's what she would accept. And that's where a lot of people are. They don't want to believe in Christ. They don't want to believe the word. They know. They would rather believe in that. They would rather believe in psyop, government psyop slop, than the truth of the living, breathing word of God.
Until I saw it. 2 suns. I thought it was some kind of internet hoax type deal. But with all that smoke out there, you can see all the 2 suns reflecting. I don't know if that has something to do with the refraction of the ozone layer or what. I don't know what it means, but tell me what it is. It's
creepy,
unusual.
In Mariah, Florida. See that and hot sundog. It was crazy fun, man. That sun was hot.
So again, this one had some music, but you can see the lens flare bouncing around. And there are clearly 2 suns. That is not a reflection. It's not refraction on the ozone. None of that. No, guys. And one is always brighter than the others. Could it be reflecting off the firmament? But it still is in weird positions at different points of the day. It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
That's how they control us.
Let me see what else I have after this one. Oh, here it is up close.
That's why they distract you so that you don't look up.
What is that? What would you say that is? Have you seen any of these things? Leave a comment below. Let me know. Have you witnessed any of this stuff before?
I have. All the time.
Okay, here's another one. Look at this. Okay, the music is off. But there it is. Another person seeing 2 suns.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who see the sun, going through, well, look at this.
What is that?
Is that the spirit?
Let's not mistake something here, folks. There is a sun above in the clouds.
Maybe that's the spear from Las
Okay,
Vegas.
let me pause it. Sorry.
Mhm.
Trying to
Maybe
get
it's from Las
perfectly.
Vegas. Maybe it's the spear.
A sun above the clouds, but then there's one sitting in the clouds. Do not dare tell me that is a reflection. That just doesn't happen into a perfect spherical ball. No, it's.
Yeah.
I was just about to
simulator.
say people have seen the sun like going in the cloud through the clouds, but then you see that top one, and then that is just
The Truman Show.
what's going on. Maybe it's a giant Bobby. I don't know, guys. If you guys know my orbs, I call them Bobby. My daughter gave me that name. It's a long story.
Oh, like,
What is that?
Look at this sun. Sorry, I have two screens, so if you see me looking both ways, I can see it bigger over here. Look. Watch the color. No, I know, because there's a wildfire right
I seen it
there.
like that
Sure.
before.
Oh, no, the wind was blowing the
Like
water.
that too.
Come on, guys. Come on. We've got to stop it
It's super
accepting
cute.
slop. We've got to stop accepting the lies as truth. This is how they keep us blind.
Today I managed to catch the moment where sun exposes itself. This is in the UK right before the 8 p.m. And the reason why I was recording the sun is because prior to this I have noticed light flashes like a glitch. You know when your light bulb is about to go and it's flashing wild. That's exactly what I have seen, and I immediately thought, let me see if it's flashing with my camera, because you can't see anything around the sun with a naked eye, it's just too bright, and when you use a camera you can see more clearly. And then I've seen the sun revealing itself from behind. I am glad I got this moment because when I take a photo, few people claim is not real and edited. The problem is that when I put such photo through the edition, it would reveal even more weird stuff. Like for example this view, which makes zero sense to me right now. I actually encourage those who find it hard to believe to try record this by themselves. If you are open-minded and just want to prove it to yourself, why not give it a go?
Look at that. Did you see it? It flickers. Now, some say it's at a sun simulator. I believe, like, again, it could be a sun simulator, but it doesn't make sense that it could be everywhere and cover up the entire sun. This is my problem. I believe they have it, but how would they cover it up? But the other thing is, why is this glitching? Why did it just glitch? Let me play it back if you didn't catch that moment. Here.
Yeah. I used to see that a lot. Especially in Florida.
Someone will say, well, the camera glitch. Well, then everything should have went black. Just the specific sun glitches and nothing else. I know it's the cameras, the lens flare. It's nobody knows how iPhones work. All of that, guys. I'm just amazed every day of the videos I see. And I collected these in maybe 20, 30 minutes after the gym to come do this video. Wow. If you go look for this stuff, you will see it everywhere. So, but anyway, guys, I've got to go eat dinner and take a shower. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and yeah, I will see you very shortly.
That's what's up. Yeah, like I used to see down in Florida, the sun used to flicker. It used to act like weird. And I thought, damn, the sun's not supposed to do that. And it would just pulsate. And it used to burn the shit out of me too. That sun was unforgiving. But I've seen, I always, the thing is that they distract people so much here, right? So they keep people busy. People got to work. People got to do things, have a family. You got to take care of the kids. You got more responsibilities. And then if you have more kids, there's even more responsibility. So there's less, just like you're distracted. That's their goal because they don't want you looking up in the sky. They don't want you looking at the sun. They don't want you looking at the moon. They don't want you to question anything. Just they want to keep you busy. Worry about your bill that you got to pay tomorrow. Worry about how the hell are you going to do groceries next week. Like, that's what they want. They want you to worry. They want you to fear. They feed off of that. That's crazy. But I'm going to get off of here. It's already that time for me to go to bed. Thank you so much for everyone who came through and watched. Truly appreciate you guys. And Chloe, have a good one. Hopefully things will get better and you can get back to doing your DoorDash. But I'll be back on here tomorrow, yet again, 7:30 hopefully. Today I didn't make it on time because I had a late doctor's appointment and then I had to go pick up the medications, and it's just it was hectic getting back here, but I still came on and did 3 hours. Look at that. Thank you so much, and have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night. And I'll catch y'all on the flip side. And tomorrow, I want to see tomorrow. Definitely want to see tomorrow. Every day is a new day. Every day something happens, and I'll cover it. I'll cover it, and we'll watch together. With that said, good night, everyone. Peace.